What's shaking, everybody? Welcome to a Friday edition of House Divided. Last day of school in the Conroe Independent School District, which means hello, kids, in about 15 minutes when they get home and are ready for their Christmas break. I don't know what I'm doing yet. Glad to be with you guys. My little pool of sanity for the next 3 hours before it's kids for, like I said, the next 18 days or so. I'm Jeff Ketchum. That is Chad Hastings.
What's up? Now, Ketch, what time do your twins get off school?
Now.
Okay, because my 17-year-old gets off in about an hour and a half or so, and she'll be headed back to the house in a teenage mood. Apparently, there's a gingerbread house that's getting constructed. So during the show today is when my daughter officially goes on Christmas break.
And Anwar was saying that the Cedar Park kids don't get out to the 22nd, which just seems to suck to be them.
Dude, my wife has to work all the way through the 22nd. So the kids in Elgin are out today. The kids in Manor, 10 miles down the road where my wife drives the bus every day, the Manor kids are in till the 22nd. My wife was swearing like crazy when she found that out. So a whole week where my daughter just gets to hang out at the house and my wife still has to work.
That's like the Hatfields and the McCoys living in different time zones. It just doesn't make sense. No. Guys, do us a solid. As we move on, we'll for now, probably until our kids get home, and then we'll get back into the Christmas discussion. Although I do have a buy or sell Christmas question for you in an hour. As you come into the Specs chat, like the channel, subscribe to the channel. We're still creeping up to 18,000. It takes, for whatever reason, 18,000 has just been a bastard. Hopefully 19,000 won't take as long as getting to 18,000 has.
It's free. I keep saying it. It's free.
If it's free, I'll take 3. Go to 3 different devices and subscribe to the channel on all of them.
Y'all love to click. Just click on it. It's that simple.
Pretend like it's a portal into OnlyFans.
Yes, exactly. Like, here's the math. If Orange Bloods has like 30,000 followers on Twitter, then how does Orange Bloods Live only have like 17.8 thousand subscribers? That makes no sense.
That is a good point.
Come on.
That is a good point. Plus, you guys are all supposed to be young on YouTube. Click.
Yeah.
Old people click. Why can't you click?
Come on, kid. Come on, kids.
It's going to be a big recruiting show today. FYI, Longhorns having a huge weekend. Aggies trying to hold on to. I don't know what the Aggies are doing, Chad, from a visit standpoint. I'm guessing they're going to have portal guys in, high school guys in. It feels like all I'm reading with regards to the Aggies are them trying to hold on to their recruits. Maybe we'll get into some A&M discussion. I keep wondering if in the middle of today's show, will Jasper linebacker Ty Anthony Smith, who is an A&M commit, will he magically show up on campus in Austin? He's been reported to visit. He's been reported he's canceling. He's been reported he's visiting. He changes his mind. It almost feels like he wants to sneak in, Chad. We've had this conversation this week. The old sneak in 48-hour visit that nobody ever knows about, presumably until you either flip and sign with Texas on Wednesday or sign with Texas A&M, because signing day is now, 5 days away? Today's the 15th. So we're not far away.
That works, right? Like in the social media age, when you've got thousands of people following you and then thousands more that will see that works, right? You can just show up to a city like Austin being an A&M commit and nobody would know. That's possible, right?
That didn't work in 2003, let alone 2023.
I was going to say the year I got married, the year you and I met face to face, the year, whatever, the year you got in the business, maybe you could get away with it when you started. Like, what? Maybe, but not now. Not now.
But I'm trying to think, has there ever been anybody that's been able to sneak in on a 48-hour visit at the University of Texas and nobody know about it? Chad, back in the day, they used to let my ass go to the hotel in like 96 and 97.
Oh God, yeah, I remember that stuff.
And I would interview them as they were walking out of the doors of the hotel as they finished their. I can remember breaking Adam Dunn's commitment way back in the day. How? Because a coach literally pointed me to him. Yeah, no, go interview him. Kids, just know this. John Vakovic's coaching staff, much more open-minded about me interviewing kids at the hotel. I think the cops were called on me when Matt came into town. Turns out not as much of a fan of that kind of publicity. Who knows?
Call 911. Ketchum's down here again. Let's go.
Hey, that was way back in the very beginning of the Cleve Bryant years. Cleve wanted to intimidate people upon first impressions. Rest in peace, Cleve. But nevertheless, M. Ward 626 with the first super chat of the day. Any chance that Malik Murphy could be on the sideline for playoff games and get a championship ring when we win? Well, look, if they win, he's going to get a championship ring. I don't know that college football completely treats it like pro sports, where if you play in a game, you get a ring. If you get traded at midseason, you still get a ring. You contributed. So they count you. Matter of fact, I think in the NFL, you might get playoff shares, even if you're not on the team during the playoffs. So, yeah, look, I would imagine, yes, he'll get a ring. But is there any chance he's going to be on the sidelines? I don't think so.
No, that would make no sense.
In the portal, he is going to make a decision, and he's got to go live his life. Let me tell you what this is like. I was a buster when I was a young guy, and I can remember breaking up or having breakups with women, and it's like, well, we'll still hang out, right? If you need me to take you to your dance class next week, I mean, I can still do that.
You would still offer up friend benefits as you were breaking up?
Well, because I was trying to stay out of the friend zone.
Okay.
So I would, anything to, like I said, I was a buster. How you want me to take it to another level and explain how much of a sad sack I was when I was that age?
Not necessarily. I'm just trying to follow the logic.
I was just trying to keep my tentacles. You ever remember the wacky wall walkers?
I do.
That used to come in the cereal boxes?
Yes. And
then you'd take those things and throw them against the wall.
Mm-hmm.
And then less than walk.
Yeah.
One by one, the leg would just pop off until there was one leg. All other four legs are There'd be one leg clinging to the refrigerator door. That was me after a breakup.
Yeah. Wacky wall walker worked really well on a sliding glass door. The kryptonite to the wall walker, carpet.
Yeah.
As soon as they got carpet fuzz on them, useless.
I don't think the kids today know what a wacky wall walker was, but just know this: back in the day, it was the pinnacle of breakfast cereal toys.
I don't know what it says about us that some of the coolest things we remember as kids were just stuff that was in a cereal box. I don't know what that says about us, but it's true.
My daughter still gets really excited by the Sonic toys.
Yep.
I'm like, you're 9. It's about time to get away from the Happy Meals and the kids' meals, and yet
no, let her have those toys till she's 12. Give her that till she's 12. Once you become a teenager, you probably shouldn't be worshiping Sonic toys. But up until 12, I think you're good.
Somebody make fun of you at some point.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Until you're 30.
Chad, where do you want to start? We got our first super chat question. Oh, can I give you my idea for Malik Murphy?
Sure.
Little Penix energy. Well, little Penix energy. You would know the friend zone, I'm guessing, right? Little energy. I don't know.
We've all been there. We've all been there. We have all been there.
What about, I don't know that, look, this is a kind of a, Malik Murphy, I think, wants to go to a place where he can start right away, which I don't know what schools those are. Like, is he insanely talented and could he go play at just about any school in the country? Yeah. Who could he start for next year? Man, I don't know. And I don't know that the school I'm going to mention is like the perfect place for him to start next season as a starter. But couldn't you see him playing at Washington in that Michael Penix Jr. offense? They don't ask Penix to run a lot.
Right.
Just slings it around 50 times a game.
I had not thought about that one, but that's not bad. Yeah, that's not bad. I think that could work. I think there's a lot of situations where it could work, but you've brought this up. You'd have to have, I mean, it's a weird line he's walking here because based on the recruitment and the talent, the basic talent, I think there's a big possibility. But based on what he's shown so far, there's not a ton there. So you really do have to be extrapolating in your mind about what you think Malik Murphy could be. He's got to convince the coaches of that. Could Washington be one of those places? I don't know.
I haven't seen them mentioned with him. So, like, that's just me throwing it out there. The athletic.com came out with their portal rankings, top 25. Malik was number 5, which speaks to the amount of talent he has. But, you know,
Well, let me ask you about another big name. What about Florida State? We've been talking about what they're looking at, what they might need, who's visiting, DJ.
Again, he can go anywhere and play. It wouldn't surprise me if I've seen like Ohio State's name was mentioned with him. Like none of these names surprise me. It's just that I don't know that he's ready to start at Florida State this year. I still think that Malik could be a year away. And depending on how certain and adamant he is that the school he goes to has, I mean, look, he just left a school with less than an open path. If you were going to go to a place where the path wasn't open, you could have just stayed at Texas.
But here's what I wonder. Would he say to you and me, candid moment, would he say, fellas, between you and me, Arch Manning's a beast. I've watched him close up. He's a beast. That's talent that I think he'd be playing a lot.
It's more yours.
And I wouldn't.
Then Manning is the reason why he's leaving.
But maybe he'd tell us it's both. What I was going to say is maybe the argument is I need to go somewhere where it's a different battle for me, where I'm not battling a Manning in the wings and this dude. I can battle one dude. Me against a dude. I feel like I can have that battle. Me and a dude with a Manning in the fourth, off to the side. I don't know if I can deal with that. And maybe he wants to find somewhere where that just doesn't exist.
Well, again, I think he wants to start, and this will be his 3rd season. Like he redshirted. This is his redshirt freshman season. Next year is his redshirt sophomore season. I kind of get it. Like he's ready to play. But we've seen Malik Murphy up close pretty significantly. We saw him start 2 games. We know what's been said and reported and thought about him from practices. And I just still think he's a year away. And I wonder what that does to his options because Washington, I think Washington's been discussed with former Mississippi State quarterback Will Rogers. So I think there's some thought that Rogers could end up at Washington. It wouldn't be the worst. Like if he went to Washington and sat for a year behind Rodgers and then was a starting quarterback in 2025, 2026, Like, that sounds pretty badass to me, but I don't think that's the scenario that he's looking for. And I wonder what schools will have watched him this year and thought, oh yeah, we'll take whatever risk comes with it. He's our starting quarterback next year, come hell or high water. There's so many proven starters in the portal. For instance, if you ask me if I wanted KJ Jefferson to be a starting quarterback next year for my team, or Malik Murphy, I feel like KJ Jefferson's better right now. He doesn't have the upside. Malik's got more raw talent and a better chance of being an NFL quarterback. But, if we're talking about September 2024, I don't know. And like, KJ Jefferson's not regarded as one of the top quarterbacks in the portal. I'm just using him as an example because he played at Arkansas. We've all had a chance to see him. We know he's talented. We also know he's not consistent, but I don't know. Give me an example. Forget about quarterback situation for a moment.
Mm-hmm.
Think of a program in a Power 5 setting where you think Malik Murphy could be the starter next year for.
Kansas State.
Agreed. Don't know that I would want to go live in Manhattan, Kansas.
I don't either. I'm trying to think of a Power 5 that just lost their guy. Right.
I actually don't hate that.
Their guy's moving on.
From a football standpoint, that's not the worst. Let me ask you this. Baylor.
It'd be a massive improvement.
For them, that would be
where they've been.
A monumental win, right? Because they lost Saban in the portal.
Yep, that'd be a leaps and bounds improvement, especially the way Saban had played. Because I thought he was a lot better than what he had shown. I thought that actually might have been a good move when they did it. It turns out it wasn't. That'd work. That absolutely would work. Interesting that we just went to 2 Big 12 schools, but yes.
Well, because this will probably change very, very soon. But we have seen probably more Big 12 football than we have other football.
Is Daniels back at Kansas? I can't remember.
He is, and I'm kind of surprised that he's not in the portal because I think that's a guy you want to talk about a school that I can see like Florida State breaking their neck to get a kid like that?
Yeah.
I would think that there's a lot. I said it last year. I don't think if you're A&M, you would trade Wigman for Daniels, but one of the things I said throughout all of last season was if you took a Jalen Daniels and you put him on A&M, that's literally exactly what they need. Now, they don't need the hurt version, who I still cannot believe.
Oh, here we go. You're going back to that day, aren't you? Right before kickoff.
I cannot believe that we went from you want to talk about the all-time jinx moments of 2023, Chad?
I can still hear you saying it.
I was like, here we are. We're like 15 minutes away from kickoff, and there haven't been any surprise announcements about quarterbacks missing games or anything. I think we're good. I think we're going to get Daniels against Ewers, and it's going to be a football game. And then literally like 30 seconds later, Jalen Daniels hurt his back in warm-ups.
No warm-up. He's done.
Daniels isn't going to play.
Daniel LaRusso's not going to fight?
He never played again.
Never played. Not a
down.
That
was a September pregame back injury.
Yeah. We thought it was even at the time, you kind of thought, it's a baseball thing. He sneezed and he hurt himself. He'll be fine in a week or so. Nope.
He never came back. And weirdly, Kansas ended up being okay. I mean, they're going to play in a bowl game.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I didn't mean to turn this into the Jalen Daniels show. I'm still mystified. I think Jalen Daniels may be the best quarterback in the Big 12. Because if we were to take this year, I think at his best, he's still better than Quinn. Although Quinn's absolute best in the Big 12 championship game obviously was phenomenal. We didn't see that all the time. And I would absolutely take Jalen Daniels over Dylan Gabriel, except the thing you would say about both Gabriel and Quinn is they played beyond the month of September.
Yeah.
Just weird, wild story how that unfolded.
All right, as we're getting in here, up over 320 in the Specs chat. We appreciate that. Obviously, there's Portal Combat stuff to get into. There's recruiting stuff to get to. Like Ketch said, 5 days away from signing day. Ketch, let's give a quick salute to that Texas volleyball team. They are into the championship match against Nebraska. It is going to be a clash of titans on Sunday afternoon. Set a DVR. Make sure you peek in. 2 o'clock. Sunday afternoon, Texas and Nebraska. Both looked great last night.
I can remember going back to like high school years, even younger than that. You'd walk upon like a fight at school and you'd see somebody really giving somebody the business.
Mm-hmm.
You'd be like, God damn, what did Jack do to Jimmy?
Mm-hmm.
And it'd always be like, oh, Jimmy said something about Jack's mom. Or
it's over a girl.
Jack insulted Jimmy's sister, right?
Mm-hmm.
It always was something really personal where you'd go, oh, well, maybe don't mess with Jimmy's sister, right? Like,
yeah. Or it's like, hey, see the girl in the background? One of them asked her to prom. She said yes to only one and no to the other, and that's why they're fighting.
And suddenly, like, She's All That breaks out in the courtyard.
There you go.
Texas beat Wisconsin last night. Like, Wisconsin said something very personal to Texas at some point before that game. And Texas was like, oh, it's like that, huh? Because in the third and fourth sets, I can't stress this enough.
Yeah, it was abusive.
Wisconsin was a number 1 seed. They swept Nebraska 3 weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever you think, if you saw Wisconsin for the first time last night, you'd think that was like some scrub.
Yeah,
that was a number 1 seeded Wisconsin team that swept Nebraska 3 weeks ago, and earlier in the season pushed Nebraska to 5 sets when they played them in Lincoln. So what if you saw Nebraska play last night? Know that the team that Texas slaughtered last night, it wasn't even competitive in the third and fourth sets.
Right. I mean, it went 4 sets, so you give Wisconsin that. But you're right. Once that third set started, I said it at the end of the Outsiders. I'm like, fellas, Wisconsin made Texas mad because in that that third set, it started like, was it 14-3 or something?
It was like 18-4 at some point.
Yeah, you're right. It really got him upset. It's the what's the famous movie of no, he's not getting beat, he's getting mad. Is that a Rocky?
Or any of the Rockies where it looks like Rocky's losing and
he's getting mad.
Polly's like, he's not losing, he's getting mad.
That's what it was. You're right. And can't wait to see it on Sunday. And by the way, Texas fans, you have all of my support on Sunday. I do not root for Nebraska in anything. So go Texas when it comes to volleyball.
I thought the match to beat Stanford was the best that Texas has played all season that I've seen. And look, I haven't seen every game, but I probably watched about a dozen games. I feel like I'd tune in to watch the Big 12 games. I remember watching some of the Stanford game from earlier in the year, and it was like, oh, these girls are in trouble. Now they look like the team I would least want to play in the tournament. They've beaten number 1 Stanford in their crib in 4 sets. They slaughtered Wisconsin in 4. It'll be fascinating to see what happens. Nebraska's basically been the best team in the country other than when Wisconsin beat them in 3. It's just even hard to imagine that Wisconsin team beat that Nebraska team in a walk.
Yeah.
And then Texas did to them what they did. You're not allowed to say it anymore, but go Lady Longhorns. The volleyball team. What?
I said, no, that's not who they are at all. Did they ever call them that?
Well, I used to call all of the women's Longhorn teams like the Lady Longhorns because I learned that the basketball team was the Lady Longhorns. And so I just called all of the women when I was like a teenager the Lady Longhorns.
Yeah, that's true.
It sounds good to me. I don't know. I'm a man though, so what the hell do I know?
Hey, you know how it is. It's all about the name, man. If you want us to call you Adonai, we call you Adonai. If you want us to call you Achan, we call you Achan. I mean,
I have not heard any of the volleyball players say you can't call them the Lady Longhorns.
That's true. The basketball team is definitely adamant they want to be the Longhorns and not the Lady Long. I have no idea about volleyball.
Well, when did that happen? Has this year's basketball team said that, or did it reminds me of like in 2005.
No, I can tell you. It's like late. I mean, for certain, I first heard it when I first started working in the business, late 90s to early 2000s, and it was pretty clear.
Let's call Clarissa Davis and see what she says.
Yeah, Clarissa would have played during the Lady Longhorns era, but after that, still during Coach Conrad's time, it was made very clear that, no, we're Texas women's basketball.
I didn't realize that calling them the Lady Longhorns ever meant they weren't Texas women's basketball.
Right. They just wanted to be the Longhorns. It's team to team, right? The Baylor wanted to be the Lady Bears.
In 2005, Vince Young and those group of Longhorns, they didn't care if you came to practice to watch them practice.
Mm-hmm.
And then in 2006, Colt McCoy was like, no, you guys can't watch our practice anymore. Does that mean forevermore that all of the rest of the basketball teams or football teams never want you to watch them practice? It's like once a precedent gets set, that becomes a precedent. I'm just saying maybe Roy Harmon wouldn't care. Maybe she'd be like, yeah.
Yep. I think all
that rolls off the tongue real nicely.
I think all this group cares about is that about 5 o'clock or so on Sunday, you call them champs. I think that's all they care about.
I know this. They have, you know what? Two things about volleyball players, okay? Number one, they support each other better than any other people on the face of the planet. Because they'll make a mistake, and then they'll all get in a huddle and hug and encourage each other and clap. I sometimes watch women's volleyball, and I don't know who won the point because everybody claps at the same time.
Because they're all they're all throwing the positive every time.
It's like, yeah, it's all positive vibes. Even Wisconsin last night was getting their brains beat in, and there was a point where like they made it in the fourth set. It was like 23-10. And those girls were clapping and encouraging. And when I play other sports, or when I did play other sports, like that's not how men treat each other. Like you might clap one time, but if somebody hit the ball into the net twice, you're giving them the side eye.
Yeah.
You're giving them a hard slap on the ass, but it's not meant in a loving way. So I love volleyball players because I just wish I lived in a world where that's just how we acted all the time. You know, when I make a mistake and I say the wrong name, instead of you being like, Jeff, it was Dak Prescott. You said Tony Romo. It's Dak. Instead of that, right? It'd be like, next time, Jeff,
Sorry, Ketch.
Dak Prescott.
Dak. Good job. It's okay. It's all right.
That'd be great.
It's okay. All right. I'll try to go somewhere between those two things because I don't think I've ever used that first tone, and I don't think I'll ever use the second tone. I'll try to go right in the middle. How about that?
I'm just saying it'd be a great world that we lived in where everybody got picked up all the time the way volleyball players. Plus, the other thing I love, those girls, those women, those ladies, they have an unbelievable time when they win. I'm a 47-year-old cranky husband and father now. I just wish once I could go into a locker room and dance like they do. Just letting it loose. I'll do the worm, ladies. Let me into the post-game celebration. I will do a backwards worm.
Yeah. Hey, it's a good point. Good point, Ketch. Good first half hour. 30 minutes in to House Divided. I think you've done an excellent job. Whatever you want to go next, I know it's going to be the right move. What are you thinking? Where do we go? What do you like? It's all good.
I mean, do we now go into recruiting? Do we go into the portal combat? Do we need to differentiate recruiting and then the portal combat opening? Like, do we need to separate them because of the open?
I think we do have a couple super chats as well that we need to clean off at some point. that are not exactly related to either one, I will admit. So I tell you what,
chats, it's okay.
Let's clean up the money real quick because they've been nice enough to send super chats, and then we'll get
into
that's it. And then we'll go Portal Combat and recruiting because they all tie together when it comes to who's coming over for a visit this weekend. Let's go with a $4.99 super chat. Jeff, what do you think of the Bo Davis rumors? Do you think he leaves? There have been rumors about Bo Davis. Ketch. Let me see if I've got the rumors right. Maybe ending up at another SEC school.
The rumors are out there. We were even talking about them yesterday in the Orange Blood Slack channel. It's not something that we've reported on yet, but they're out there. Bo Davis went to LSU. There have been rumors when Brian Kelly took that job in the first place. There were thoughts that Bo Davis could go to LSU. I think Bo makes like 1.3 a year. So it's not like Bo is an underpaid guy at his position. And if you want coming out of this season with Tavondre Sweat and Murphy on the resume, my guess is if they go to the Board of Regents and say we need to get Bo more money, I bet the Board of Regents would give Bo more money. Like he's one of these assistant coaches that's I think people will feel like has earned a promotion or raise or pat on the backs or whatever. So it probably just comes down to what does Bo want to do? And, my guess is like Bo Davis and his wife know that, and maybe a few other people, but I don't know that it's completely clear. My guess is he stays at Texas. It may just be that this becomes one of the annual rumors that never goes away. So I wouldn't get too worried. I haven't heard from like a real substantive, that was a hard word to say.
Good job, though. Good pronunciation. That was good. A lot of syllables. I thought you nailed it. A lot of people would have missed it. Good job.
Now, see, there's a difference, though, between being positive and then being like taking it a little too far.
Okay. That was too far.
Just
not correct.
Something a little less than that, because that could come across like being a smart ass.
Okay, we don't want to come across as sarcastic or smart ass. Okay.
Those women aren't sarcastic. Gotcha. Good job. They're not going, good job. That was a great serve. Way to hit it in the net. That's not what they're saying.
All right, how about this? That's a good try. You get it next time. You're good. Yeah, more realistic.
It's uplifting.
There you go. That's why we're here.
You catch more flies with sugar than non-sugar.
I believe vinegar is the word you're looking
for. Thank you.
Yes, vinegar is the. I just did it. Good job. You got half of it. Well done. Got half of it. I wouldn't have had the other. You had the front half. I had the back half. That's why we're a good team. Good teammate. Good teammate. Well done.
See how productive that is?
That really is. I do feel better. Juan, thank you for that. Juan, well done. Good job. $4.99. Well done the super chat. We are inspired by volleyball. $5 super chat from Jay. Yesterday was 10 years to the day Mac retired. Do you remember what your thoughts were at the time? Did you agree? Who did you want them to hire? For me, it would be a yes and Saban. Jeff, your thoughts?
Yes. And Jay, I would say, when did we talk about that at length yesterday?
God, was it yesterday? No, we talked about it on the 13th because it was banquet anniversary.
2 days ago.
2 days ago.
So on Wednesday, it was during the 1 o'clock hour, wasn't it?
I think that's right.
Like after buy or sell?
Sounds about right.
Jay, we talked about it for like 20, 30 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Like I went deep. I did like Axel Foley. I went deep, deep, deep undercover. By the way, are you down for Beverly Hills Cop 4?
As long as I don't have to pay for it.
It's on Netflix.
Yeah, no, I'll watch. I will watch with the same energy that I watched the Coming to America sequel, and I'm just going to hope it's a lot better than that because the Coming to America sequel was sad.
You haven't watched that twice, have you?
No. No, I'll rewatch Wonder Woman 1984 before I ever go back to that.
Wow. Okay, so Jay, like I said, we really talked about it at length on the anniversary. Chris Bennett reminded us of it, and like I went through the whole Orange Bloods. I even read an email on the air.
That's right.
From a former friend. He's still friends with Sukamel. Like they're still buddies. I just, think about that email, Chad. He didn't send it to me.
Right.
I'm a friend.
Yeah. So Wednesday show, Jay.
Taylor.
Wednesday show, Jay, second hour. We went into that in depth on the anniversary of the Red Banquet. So definitely check that out.
I wanted them to hire Charlie Strong. Clearly. No.
Yeah. Thank you for your super.
I thought they nailed it in real time. I will say what I've always said. I was a big proponent of John Harbaugh at the time. Maybe this was like that was what I thought in 2017 or 2016. So, but I've always been a big Harbaugh guy because if you'll remember back early in his Baltimore days, Chad, they weren't paying him a lot and like they were stringing him along from a contract standpoint. This was definitely the case in 2016. And I thought him and Harbaugh coming back to college would be the biggest story in college football if they were both in college football. And I thought, wouldn't it be badass to have one half of the Harbaugh brothers? I've always been a real big believer in hiring only elite level proven coaches. And so that's my head's always kind of been there. But Saban would have been the obvious one. In theory, they had him lined up and ready to go. In full transparency, once that fell apart, I hate to say it now because I hate the son of a bitch. But in December of 2013, it made a lot of sense to hire Art Briles from Baylor. And that coulda, woulda almost happened, except Briles felt like he didn't have to interview for the job. And you know what? I might hate the son of a bitch. He's right.
At that moment, especially who he was then.
Yes, at that moment, he literally had just won the Big 12. He turned that Baylor program around.
And he wanted to be wanted, and he wanted to be singularly wanted. And he
wanted Texas to tell them, we want you.
Yep.
And Texas couldn't tell him that because they were terrified of living in a world where the Baylor head coach and Baylor had that kind of verbal scoreboard on them where, yes, we want you, Art. And then he goes, I'm staying at Baylor. And now every time I go into recruiting, I'm going to let them know that you wanted me. And I said, no. And Texas was like, we will tell you that we want you if you tell us that you want us.
I had somebody say out loud, even jokingly, that they think Art would have stayed in Waco. That made my day. That's just, that's funny. The idea of that is hilarious.
There was some real thought for a couple of days that Art, if you'll remember, what they played Central Florida in the bowl game that year? And they lost.
Right, to Bortles, right?
Yes.
Blake Bortles.
Like slaughtered them.
Yeah, they weren't paying attention at all.
And Art had to put out a statement before the bowl game that it was going to stay. And like, it was a distracting thing for them. He even put the release out after it had completely fallen apart, but it had become such a distractionary thing that that's what had to happen. And then in coming back, he made a big to-do of I'm coming back. It's a little bit like the Saban thing. We'll never truly know because the real moment of truth of making a decision versus not making a decision never happened. But I can tell you back then, there were a couple of days where it looked like a real possibility. It was just a matter of, can one of the two sides remove their pride just long enough to like get married?
Yeah.
And neither could. that Texas just couldn't go to Briles and completely let their guard down. Look, and like all these years later, thank God that fell apart. But at the time, it would have been an incredible hire. It would have been such a better hire than Charlie Strong for a million reasons. Core values, not one of them.
So there's that. Charlie? Well done. Well done.
Charlie.
Well done. Good job.
When you
Good
had
job.
the commissioner come into town and ask you about your core values, well done. Forget 5 and 7.
Turns out,
core values.
Turns out better core values than Art Briles. Add that to your resume. All right. House Divided on a Friday. Up over 400. Thank you so much in the Specs chat. Like, subscribe, get your notifications. We will get to the fancy intro and the portal and the recruiting. Before we do it, Ketch, let's talk about Mojo Insurance. Tell them a little bit about what Mojo can do for them. I'm in the process of it now. They're checking into my stuff to see if they can save me some money.
Mojo. Do it with me, guys. Mojo. 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 Look, they can help you save some money on insurance. And what that means in real terms, if they save you money on insurance, that means they've saved you money. That means they've made you money. Let them make you some money for free. Scan that QR code. Go to Mojo Insurance Agency, mojoinsurance.agency. There's a form. You fill it out. They take that form. They find out if they can save you some money. And if they can, all you have to say is, yes, you've made me some money. I'll take it. And then the rest works real easily from there. This only works if they can save you money. You can't find out if they can save you money unless you either scan the QR code or go to the mojoinsurance.agency website, fill out the form. It takes like 30 seconds worth of effort. That's it. And if they can save you hundreds of dollars, I don't know, more, less. If you told me right now somebody put $100 in my hand for 30 seconds of my time, I'd do it. Hey, I need 30 seconds of your time, and I'll give you $100. I mean, I would do it. Why wouldn't you let mojoinsurance.agency potentially do that for you? I'm just saying, don't make this rocket science. And that's that.
House Divided, 17 days away from Texas and Washington. We're talking plenty of football stuff today, and it is about that time for Blake, the super producer, to fire up the fire and all the rest of it.
Round 1, fight! Get over here! Finish him!
Portal combat. All right,
hey,
Ketch.
real quick, Chad.
Yeah.
This is kind of a funny super chat. Hold on. Not what I meant to click on. I don't know what's going on in the chat. Says, I worked for law enforcement. This comes from Kevin for 23 years and heard from other cops that 2 cops were guarding Saban's wife as she was in Austin looking for homes to sell or for sale. Take it for what it's worth.
The famous Miss Terry real estate stories.
I believe it.
Not the first time we've heard that. I do too. Kevin, thank you so much for the $10 super chat. Ketch, I will argue that this time of year, this specific weekend, when there's a group of guys visiting, the portal guys are more important than the recruits. Not that the recruits aren't important, but not just recruits, commits. If you're already committed to Texas, I can make the argument that the visit itself is not as crucial, but it is obviously crucial for these portal guys. So let's start there. The names of guys that we know are going to be in town, maybe they're already in town, visiting this weekend. What names do we know for sure?
The 2 for sure, take them to the bank, no doubt about it. Number 1 is Andrew Makuba. And by the way, we've gone from Chad, you can write that in ink.
Yes.
Go ahead and take your non-washable magic marker out.
Sharpie?
Andrew Makuba's, take your Sharpie out.
Ooh, Sharpie. Okay.
Take your Sharpie and write Andrew Makuba will be a Longhorn. You're good.
Man, that's
You're
so
good.
cool.
I hate to be so emphatic that I've never said, I've never done a show where I've said, take a Sharpie out and write the message in Sharpie.
No.
All I can tell you is the words haven't come from Andrew Makuba's mouth, but there are a lot of people that are in the inner circle of Andrew Makuba who are very eager for that party to get started. Makuba's
Right.
going to be a Longhorn. He's in town. He today arrives for an official visit. It's, that is assuming that goes well, you won't have to worry about washing away the non-washable Sharpie.
That's cool. It's a great story, too. We talked about it, the LBJ connection, Jamal Fenner being on the staff and just all that. And he's a really good player as well. He was really good at Clemson, and Texas can obviously use the help at safety moving forward. You can use that level of guy. So it is it's good. Somebody says this Portal Combat, write it in blood.
He's right.
There you go. You can
Write it in blood.
in blood. Finish him. So Andrew Makuba is in town. Is there also going to be a guy in town that may go from wearing red to wearing burnt orange?
He's used to wearing blood. Now he might just wear a shade of burnt orange. Matthew Golden, University of Houston wide receiver. He'll be in town this weekend. This is kind of a weird one. Maybe don't write. There's almost seems to be more certainty that he's going to end up a Longhorn than there is on what day he's going to show up. Because I haven't been able to confirm exactly when Matthew Golden is going to take his official visit to Texas. It's not that he's visiting anywhere else. It's just that hasn't been completely locked down. It could be tomorrow because there's talk, and we haven't confirmed this yet, but I believe a national reporter at 24/7, Chad Simmons at 24/7 reported that Tennessee edge Tyler Barron was scheduled to show up tomorrow to take an official visit to Texas. I talked with a source last night that said Barron was under consideration, but wasn't able to confirm the visit part. That ultimately there's still so many things happening in real time that plans are coming together. It sounds like it would make sense that Barron will show up on campus. This happens at the same time as Trey Moore is visiting Alabama. So this could be, would Texas take more than one edge? Kind of a surprise if they did that. Like Tyler Barron, 6'5", 260, was a part-time starter for Tennessee this year. He had 5 sacks. That's, from a profile standpoint and from like a production standpoint. And oh, by the way, he'll be a 5th-year senior. That's, I don't know that that's better than Barron Sorrell. So now, could you do with having 2 Barron Sorrells on the team at the same time? Yeah, sure. That doesn't sound terrible. But, when we look at what Trey Moore represents, you see the production and there's a reason why he's visiting Alabama this weekend. And Tyler Barron, there's some thought that he's leaning to Ole Miss. By the way, almost every kid in the portal seems to be. But there's some thought that he could show up for an official visit tomorrow. And then beyond that, it remains to be seen. I'm still waiting to see something final with Juice Wells. He's a little bit like the Ty Anthony Smith of portal guys in that it was reported last week he was coming to Texas. And then like 5 minutes later, he's not coming to Texas. Then he is coming to Texas. Then he's not coming to Texas. And then I checked with somebody a couple of days ago who indicated that he would be coming to Texas for an official visit, but that didn't necessarily mean that he was one of the top guys at wide receiver. So I'm a little bit of let's wait until they're on campus to start writing stuff in blood with Juice Wells and with Tyler Barron, but both of those could and maybe are expected to happen.
Also, a shout out to the War Room at orangebloods.com. Check it out every Thursday night. Get to orangebloods.com. Get signed up for all the latest information. Catch the fact that Trey Moore is visiting Bama. You referenced that yesterday. Interesting that he's visiting with a couple other guys that people might know the name of, especially guys like me know the name of. LT Overton, the talented offensive lineman from the Aggies that's in the portal. He's visiting Bama this weekend. And so is Fadil Diggs, the talented linebacker. Or Diggs linebacker or technically D-line. But Fadil Diggs is also visiting this weekend with those two guys. So two talented defensive players and a talented offensive player that will visit Nick Saban. And as we've said, Ketch, once Nick Saban's in the discussion, you at least have to give that its respect because he's Nick Saban.
Yes, and a couple of things about this. I've been hearing from Alabama people that Saban is getting more and more into the portal. They've had some success in the portal. I mean, a year ago, they didn't answer their wide receiver issues fantastically going into Bryce Young's final season, but they got Jahmyr Gibbs, the linebacker with a really difficult name to say that went from Tennessee that's now in the NFL. That guy, Henry To'o. Yes.
Yeah.
They got so they've had some success, but it sounds like Saban is even more into the idea of the portal than he was into the portal, and he was already kind of into the portal. They're bringing in 3 edge guys this weekend. And I talked to an Alabama guy yesterday, and you mentioned LT Overton and Fadil Diggs, along with Trey Moore. There were no indications to me that one was favored over the other. It seemed to be, let's get all 3 on campus. We want to get 1. If we get 2, fantastic. But we definitely want to get 1. So we'll get all 3 on campus, get a feel where things stand maybe half a day in, and we'll know, right? We'll know Trey Moore is really into us. Let's make a real go. Or no, that kid's been leaning Texas. You can kind of see that. Let's make sure that we put the pedal to the metal for Diggs and Overton. But they're bringing in 3. They want to get 1. They'll absolutely take 2. They don't really care who they are.
Yeah, and my bad on Fadil Diggs. He is an edge. I'm distracted by 2 things, Catch. A, he wore number 10 at A&M, which always makes me want to turn you into a linebacker. And 2, DJ Durkin had him covering wide receivers, which makes me think he's not a defensive lineman. He is an edge. So that's on me. But yeah, and God help the rest of us, Catch. If you're a fan of any team not called Alabama, God help us all if Nick Saban is officially embracing the portal in a way that's a little bit different. Because whether he's out in front of the trend or he gets into the trend along the way, once he gets a hold of it, you better look out. You better respect what he's doing, watch what he's doing, because he's Nick Saban. And that's a scary, scary thought.
You know what? The next time Jason and I get into an argument about the value of the portal, I'm just going to say Nick Saban.
Yeah.
Nick likes it.
Yep.
And you know what? Nick seems to be completely okay with the idea of, I don't have to get everybody, but I'll bring them all in and I'll get somebody. And I think that's the strategy. And if you're a Longhorn fan, I think Trey Moore right now is generally regarded as one of the top 10 available prospects in the portal. He would represent a difference-making level player. Here's hoping that kid leaves Alabama this weekend, still wanting to come to Texas.
Think about it this way, Catch. I looked up the names just to double check because I thought, wait a minute, do those guys know each other in some way? Are they from the same area? So Trey Moore, as you've said, Smithson Valley, a Texas kid. LT Overton's from Georgia. And then Fadil Diggs is a New Jersey guy. So those are 3 different areas, and they may know each other from camps or whatever it is, or it could be just a coincidence they all end up in Tuscaloosa. My question to you is, what are the chances they all say no to Nick Saban? What are the chances? right? Like, don't you feel like one of those guys ends up at Bama?
I do. I mean, I won't be so far. I'm not going to pretend that I know, but I think they're going pretty hard after those A&M guys.
Yeah.
So
they probably should. They're good. I'm not thrilled about losing all the guys A&M is losing. They're two of them, man. They're really good. I really like Diggs.
And Trey Moore is really good. So
yeah,
surprise, surprise. Nick Saban's got a bunch of the best defensive players in the portal on campus this weekend. No, I think there's a better chance that they get 2 than none.
Yeah.
I think they likely get 1.
That's a Bama statement if I ever heard one. There's a better chance they get 2 than none.
Well, you know what they say about old Nick Saban as a recruiter, Chad?
Yeah.
You bring in 3 badasses, he'll probably trip all over himself and get none. No. They never have said that about Nick Saban. Not even when he was at Michigan State did they say that about Nick Saban.
Also, since you've referenced the school a couple times, would you love to be a fly on the wall and find out exactly what conversations Lane Kiffin's having with kids right now? Because it feels like there's a serious energy around Oxford, and there's visit after visit after visit from these portal guys.
Well, and you know what? I actually appreciate they are desperate to be great.
Mm-hmm.
And they're taking a different path. I think they're kind of taking a Florida State path. And I also think they look around at the rest of the SEC and they don't see anybody who's as all in on the portal as Florida State.
Right.
So they're probably thinking, it's hard in the SEC to make a niche for yourself when Georgia and Alabama and now Texas and Oklahoma are all in there niching it up. They're the JUCO niche or the portal niche. And they've got an NIL collective that's putting money out to entice kids to come to Ole Miss. And I don't have a problem with it at all. Like there's a lot of people who are like, well, we know what's going on at Ole Miss. It's like, no, we do. And you know what? They can do it now. This isn't like a decade ago where it was like, oh, Ole Miss has got 3 5-stars. Wonder how they did that. Wonder no more.
Yeah, because I guarantee you, Ketch, how many times has Hugh Freeze walked across the Auburn campus since he got there and thought, God, I wish I could have done this at Ole Miss.
Yes.
Right. If I could have done all of this with the Adunze brothers and that first wave of receivers and all that stuff, if I could have been above the table, if we could have been on top of the table with those guys, oh my God.
They don't even call that an NCAA violation anymore? No. So, hey, and real quick, because I know we're almost at buy or sell time in the 1 o'clock hour, and we do have Jason Sukumel joining us in roughly 22 minutes. In fact, Blake, I could do it, but if you don't mind, send Sukumel a link in the event that he needs one, and he just hasn't bookmarked the link to our studio. From an official visit standpoint, because we've mostly just talked about the portal guys. Yeah. We know that Xavier Filsaime is supposed to be in now. His plane may be landing now. The Florida commit from McKinney, who's one of the nation's best safeties, might end up being a Rivals 5-star when it's all said and done. He's the biggest visit of them all.
Now, that's the kind of visit that is crucial when you're not a Texas commit. Obviously, that's huge. The fact that he's committed somewhere else and he's coming to Austin days before signing day.
5 days. By the time he leaves, it'll be 3 days.
Yeah.
On top of that, we confirmed late last night that Alex Foster, who is a defensive lineman, defensive tackle, but he's kind of a strong side defensive end who's going to project into a defensive tackle, a little bit like Tavondre Sweat, quite frankly, kind of similar frames at the high school level. He's from Greenville, Mississippi, committed to Baylor. He's going to visit this weekend. We'll see what happens there. But, if he's going to visit this weekend, we're going to – do you need us to say the quiet part out loud, which is it really starts to look like that's the look of a guy that's probably going to flip from Baylor to Texas. And look, let's be real. I mean, it's Baylor. The one that everybody will be watching, Chad, and we'll talk with Jason about it. As of right now, Jasper linebacker Ty Anthony Smith, who's committed to A&M, is telling everybody who will ask that he's not coming in for a Texas visit. But yet, I think there were 2 more crystal balls today made by other organizations outside of Rivals where they had reporters predicting a Texas victory for Ty Anthony Smith. When we get Sukamel on, I can just tell you in advance what he's going to say, which is Smith is saying that he's not coming, but we may stalk the visit this weekend because I think there's a sense that whether it's sneaking, whether it's arriving late, whether it's he's like Michael Jackson in the old days, he's like an entourage of people with like jackets and blankets all over him. I don't know, but we will be watching for Anthony Smith. And then on the commitment side of things, among the players that will be in town this weekend, Ryan Wingo, who will be practicing with the team shortly. There's a handful of guys. I think in total there's 8 or 9 commitments, Ryan Wingo being the biggest. So it will be a full weekend of visitors, but everybody will have their eyes on the portal guys, and I think Phil Same Foster and potentially Ty Anthony Smith.
All right, we do have 2 or 3 super chats we need to grab as well. We will try to do that before we get to Jason Sukamel. You want to go ahead and get buy or sell done here? Or do you want to get the super chats?
Let's do the super chats and get them out of the way so they're not hanging over us, and plus the guy's paid. So
yeah,
let's get them over.
Since you just mentioned this, Chris and $2, you just mentioned this guy. Why is Ty Anthony Smith a take? I'm assuming that means why would Texas be interested?
In a year when the linebacker position isn't great, he's one of the better linebackers in the state of Texas. I say that, though, with a little bit of faint praise because it is a weak linebacker class. If it were me, I would probably take a linebacker in the portal over Ty Anthony Smith. My worry with Ty Anthony Smith is I think he may be a guy that needs 2 or 3 years to develop, which there's nothing wrong with that. But at programs like Texas, guys don't wait 2 or 3 years before they're out the door in the portal at the first sign that the depth chart is really tough to climb.
Chris, thank you for that super chat. To this super chat, stop trying to stir trouble, but we appreciate your $5, Chris. Buy or sell. Blake is a better producer than AT.
There's the thing, Chris, and we had this with Dustin too. We've been lucky, Chad and I, since we've been doing shows, to have great producers. Where Blake has an edge is that if we say, Blake, hey, I need a tweet from Doc Texas, right? He'd just go do it. He'd know what we were talking about. Or if I said, hey, get this or get that, he'd know the sports side better than AT. Where AT has an edge over Blake is that Blake can't be a black woman who's lived a full life, has great, you know what I mean? Like, she's older than Blake. She's got more stories, and she's got more things to say. She's more entertaining with us in a way that Blake can't be. And if you doubt that, if there were ever any audio tapes of black and white trivia back in the day, or her imitating Chad's stripper DJ impersonation, it just can't be replicated. AT had a special place in our hearts.
Yeah, I am punting. They are equally awesome. Plus, it's an apples and oranges discussion with
No, it's
radio,
just different. It's
radio and YouTube. And for the record, Blake, the super producer, it's a nice job today. Good show so far. Everything's running smoothly. Well done. Nice job. Nice job. Excellent
good
job.
serve. Good serve.
Can't wait to see what you've done with Scottish Guy today. I know it's going to be great. I know it's fantastic. Also, the graphic that there it is. The graphic he came up with last night during Outsiders. Great graphic. Love the graphic.
Do I even need to ask?
Deer eating popcorn. It was fantastic. Instead of another, like a person eating popcorn. No, it's a deer eating popcorn, and it was fantastic. Blake, the other Blake, thank you for mentioning the producer Blake's great work. And the other one, Ketch, that we need to grab is from our man Oscar. He's a little nervous, $9.99. Let's cut to the chase, guys. Are we winning it all this year, or am I going to be sulking in New Year's leftovers? How about the volleyball team? Skinner gets the love, but good God, Holter and O'Neal, fire, hook 'em. Yeah, O'Neal had some great moments last night specifically.
They all look.
They're all beasts.
They were a flat out machine last night. Maybe as much of a machine. I think Texas won the national championship last year in the final in 3 sets. And yet I don't think it was as dominating and as humiliating for the opponent. I'm just telling you, them Wisconsin girls, women, walked back into their locker room last night and were like, what the fuck just happened?
Yeah, and Texas Texas.
What was that?
They intimidated them in a big way too. What did Wisconsin had like 11 or 12 service errors? Like they just looked shaky. And you said it's a badass team. It's a team that had swept Nebraska. Texas made them look ordinary.
They made them doubt themselves significantly.
Yeah, they made them look extremely ordinary in the Final Four. Best moment for me to know what it was they showed a close-up of the Wisconsin player who's about to serve the very last point. Texas won it on the other team's serve, and that look on her face said it all. She bounced that ball a couple times. She looked up. She gave this big exhale, and it was like we're about to go home. This is about to be over. I mean, she had no doubt that that the crushing was about to be finished.
By the way, Oscar, whether or not we win it all, we're not quite ready to go there. Although I'm saying I think Texas is going to win it all, but we do think Texas is going to beat Washington. And if they do that, and then they end up playing on the 8th and they lost, would you still be sulking in New Year's leftovers on the 8th?
Yeah, I don't know which one is he? Oscar, I would tell you that whatever is about to happen, you're not going to have a reason to sulk about anything. You're into this playoff. Come on.
I'm going to try to get this for you. Mark, it's 5:15, Chad, and Destiny is ready to go onto the stage.
All right. Here we go. Oh, I got a better time for you. It was always a better time that worked. Here it was. 5:35 on the drive. A lot of energy in the building tonight. Longhorns headed for the playoff. Remember, we got 29 screens for you. They're always working. Remember, she's always working hard for you. Let's get those dollars out, guys. Let's be nice. Destiny. Stage next. Destiny.
Here we go. Good job, Chad. Good job.
Thank you. You know what? Good suggestion. You clicked it on. Well done. And a deer eating popcorn. Well done, dear. Well done, dear. Well done. All right. That cleaned up the super chats that we had to clean up. So I think now we are ready for buy or sell. You want to go first or second today, Mr. Ketchum?
I am prepared. I will go first.
Fair enough. Hit it.
Buy or sell number 1, Dak Prescott outplays Josh Allen on Sunday, and the Cowboys stay in first place.
Time to challenge my boys. I'm going to sell. Road game. Bills have a reason to be more desperate. I'm going to say they win a close one. Dak, Cowboys, do you feel the doubt? Use the doubt. Use it in Buffalo. I'm selling.
I'd love to show up on Monday and feel even better about the Cowboys and Dak. And
I would too.
Just show us. Buy or sell number 2. We were just talking about them. Don't call them the Lady Longhorns. Call them the Texas women's volleyball team and call them champions. They beat Nebraska for the Natty on Sunday.
I'm going to say buy. That Nebraska team is really good, but as was pointed out last night, they're a younger team than Texas. The experience of winning it last year, they're trying to get to rare air to go back-to-back. Only one non-West Coast team in volleyball history has gone back-to-back. Texas is trying to be the next one to do it. No other Big 12 team has done it. There's never been an SEC team to do it, and they're about to be that. I think Texas finishes it. I'll buy it.
By the way, there is something to be said for the fact that Maddie Skinner and this team as a whole, but like they're champions, They've done this before.
Yes.
They're kind of in their element.
Yeah.
I do think that someone in the chat mentioned Bryce up above said that Nebraska is a young team. Again, this seems to be Texas's element. Buy or sell, number 3. By the way, I'm not ignoring Phil, who says, I want to hear Lou Holtz subbing for Stripper DJ.
We definitely have to do that one. Oh, my God. Be thinking of the perfect name for that one. I've never tried that. Be thinking of a good name for that. That's funny. I had to stop buy or sell to go to that one. Okay. Buy or sell, number 3. Mm-hmm.
It would not have been too harsh to fire Brandon Staley in the second quarter of last night's loss to the Raiders. Mid-game, you want to do a little bit of classic dignity, but you're losing 49-0 to the Raiders with Aiden O'Connell at quarterback.
You know what? Since you've been all about positivity and volleyball positive today, I'm going to be volleyball positive, and I'm going to say sell. That would have been a little out of sorts. But a tarmac or a just leave him somewhere in Vegas because there's a lot of people and who would notice, I think either of those would have been appropriate.
The old, hey, you've got a guaranteed contract, so why not stay here and see a show? Yeah, no, maybe you're right. Maybe that would have been. All I know is that I cannot remember the last time I was watching a game in the second quarter and thought to myself, oh, this dude's not going to be employed tomorrow.
Yeah, right. You thought he may not be employed by the 2-minute warning of the fourth quarter. Like, it was bad.
I mean, seriously, if there was ever a do the Lane Kiffin tarmac on a guy, and I think Brandon Staley's a decent coach, but my God. All right, buy or sell, number 4 of the bowl games. Bowl season starts tomorrow. There's like 6 games, 5 or 6 games.
There are
bowl games on Saturday. You'll give Cal and Texas Tech some of your time, and maybe UCLA and Boise State as well.
Yeah, you nailed it. I'll buy it. There are 7 tomorrow. We'll go over that and some other stuff in a crap bag TV guide at 2. But yes, UCLA, Boise, 6:30, 8:15, Cal, Texas Tech. I will peek in on those 2.
And finally, buy or sell, number 5. It's 10 days before Christmas, and you've already purchased at least one Christmas present for Wendy.
Buy. Absolutely. Oh, yeah. Hey, way to go. Way to go, husband.
Way to go,
Chad.
Chad. Way to go. Way to go. Good teamwork. Good job.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I like to be the early bird on that stuff. I'm not one of those guys that likes to go out on the 23rd or 24th and scramble around. I like to have it done ahead of time. So yes, we have gotten some things, multiple things taken care of for my wife. Yes.
Are you done?
I am done with acquisition, not quite done with presentation.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that means you're done. Like nobody has everything wrapped.
Right. Done with acquisition. Acquisition done. Yes. Very excited about that. Okay. But,
good job. Good husbanding. Good fathering. Good sonning. Good job.
Hey, thank you. You know what? And I know you're a good husband too, and you're a good father, and your kids are going to come home from school. You're going to be ready. You're going to be ready. I know you are. I know you're going to be ready. I know you're going to be ready. Exactly. All right. Before we get to my buy or sell, would you like Lou, the stripper DJ, now?
Yes.
Or after? Okay. All right. For some reason, I thought Charmaine sounded like a good name.
No, I was going to say cinnamon because Perfect. I don't know that Lou can say cinnamon.
As long as it has an S in it, that's all that's going to be good. Okay. All right. Let's see if we do this. Here we go. Lou Holtz as the stripper DJ somewhere outside of South Bend. 5:35 there it is. Welcome to South Bend. It's the home of God's football team. Hope everybody's doing good. There's specials all day long. There's a great menu over there. Yes, we have a menu. You dumbasses think we don't. We do. Going all night long. She's working hard for you. Make sure you sprinkle a little extra on there for her, guys, if you know what I'm saying. Cinnamon. Say that, cinnamon. It really does get out of control at the end.
What do we got here?
Thank you, Coach.
Yes!
Thank you, Coach. Thank you, Coach. Hey, 2 of the best clappers of all time. represented the two circus tents. Jason Garrett and Mac Brown, two of the best clappers in the history of coach clapping, right? Those two guys, no matter what happened, like Mac Brown could have witnessed a pick six to start every drive of a game. And after like the 8th one, he'd have still been, okay, let's go. Here we go. That's it. Let's get it.
Who knew that Jason Garrett was ahead of his time?
He really was. Jason Garrett, volleyball positive in a football world. All right, Ketch, here we go. Buy or sell. Bills beat the Cowboys Sunday.
Oh, I'm still laughing that some people feel as if Lou, instead of cinnamon, said semen.
That's a totally different stripper DJ. That's not Lou. That's not Lou.
Bye. I want the Cowboys to win. It's a late start, so it's going to be dark at game time in Buffalo.
Yeah.
It'll be dark, cold.
Yeah. We're hearing like nothing crazy, but like 40 and, cold. 40 and Buffalo.
You'll see every time they breathe, you'll see the smoke.
Yeah.
I want to think I have thought that for the last 5 or 6 weeks that we've been talking about, well, the Eagles lose and then you beat them at home and you got a chance, NFC East. And I've thought the entire way through that we'd be a game or so within the Eagles up until this 2-game stretch against the Bills and the Dolphins. And I have felt like, and really you can throw the Tigers in there as well. I know, the Lions, I just not being funny. The 3-game stretch, there's a game or maybe even 2 that I won't let. It won't make me judge this team. It won't make me think that they're less than what they've shown themselves to be. It just feels like, just like when I looked at the Eagles coming into Dallas last week and I didn't think Eagles suck, they're going to lose in Dallas. It feels like a game on the schedule that's losable. And I think that's what tomorrow, I think the thing that you said when I asked you about the Josh Allen Dak Prescott question, it feels like Buffalo has a lot more to play for, that the desperation level will be high in New York tomorrow or on Sunday. And so I'll go with the Bills.
Yeah, it is a real thing. 7-6, hosting 10-3. We'll see if the Cowboys are up to it. Buy or sell, number 2, Ketch. By Monday, Makuba and Golden will have transferred to Texas.
Sell, but they'll have announced their transfers.
Gotcha. Okay. All right.
Although
Texas fans will be able to claim them both by Monday.
You know what? Sell.
Okay.
Because sometimes it takes these guys like to do the elaborate social media announcements. And sometimes they might be ready to announce on a Sunday, but it takes a Tuesday to get their ducks in a row. So I'm going to say, in the name of ducks in a row, that Makuba announces, but Golden takes a little bit longer.
There you go. All right. Buy or sell. Number 3, Ketch. UFC 296 tomorrow night. 2 championship fights. You're in.
Sell. There's a better chance that I'll watch Cal and Tech than pay for the fights tomorrow.
Gotcha. By the way, coming up in that crap bag TV guide, I will tell you about a fight in the UFC card that has to be the first fight of its kind ever in the UFC. No way it's ever happened before.
It's a ladder match in the UFC?
It's happening tomorrow night. I wish it was a ladder match. It's not quite that, but I'll tell you what it is at 2:00. All right. Buy or sell, number 4, Ketch. 3 NFL games tomorrow. Pittsburgh at Indy, Minnesota at Cincy, and Denver at Detroit. You'll take the 3 home teams.
Sell. Sukamel is about to join us. He's waiting in queue. I am not going to say out loud with him as a guest that Indianapolis in that current form is beating the Steelers. Give me the Steelers.
Give you the Steelers. There are some that think Denver might go to Detroit and get that win. So we'll see. That's
I think
tomorrow.
Detroit bounces back and slaughters Denver.
tomorrow, all on NFL Network. We'll remind you of that one in the crap bag, too. Interesting TV this weekend. And finally, Ketch, let's hit a birthday. Today, William, the Refrigerator Perry, turns 61, and we hope he's doing well. You can tell me where he went to school.
Clemson.
There you go. Well done. Well done. That's right, kids. The Fridge was a Clemson Tiger back in the day. He's had some health issues over the last few years, but I'm hoping he's doing well. I haven't seen a report on the Fridge in a while. He'd been through some tough stuff through the years, but 61 years old today. We hope the Fridge is doing well. Famous moment in Super Bowl 20 and the season that led up to it with the Bears. And for the record, I've always understood why Mike Ditka didn't end up going out of his way to give Walter Payton a touchdown. It's interesting that Walter Payton cared that much. That still freaks me out, that whole story. I totally get why they did what they did, but, maybe you should have known sweetness a little better and gotten him a touchdown. Anyway, happy birthday to...
Are you blaming that on Ditka?
Everybody blames it on Ditka. He blames it on himself. Ditka takes that blame and says he should have realized it, but based on the Walter Payton that was created and presented to us, I would have never thought of it. At the end of that game, if you'd have said to me, oh man, Chad, Walter Payton didn't get a touchdown. Do you think he's mad? I'd have said, no, Walter Payton doesn't care if he got a touchdown. He just cares that he won the title. But I would have been dead wrong because he was mortified by it, apparently. And
I would have loved to have seen Sweetness leap over the lines in the end zone.
I would have too, and that would have been cool. But
he scored like 97 points in that game. Like, you should have been able to do both.
I know. I agree. I can't believe they couldn't figure out both of those things for that one. All right, there's buy or sell. That is how we do it here on House Divided every day about 1 o'clock. And we are in the countdown. We are in the countdown to not only the game with Texas and Washington 17 days away. We are 5 days away from National Signing Day. 5. Wednesday is the day. By the way, 5, that's half a 10. 5 days away from National Signing Day. Plus all these visits this weekend. We had to bring this guy on today. And the Steelers are playing tomorrow. Come on. Jason Sukamel, orangebloods.com. Nervous Steeler fan. Actually, you haven't been nervous for a while, have you?
You got to be good to be nervous. But, Ketch better pick the Steelers. I was about to throw my camera away if he didn't. So
you don't know what this is about, Jason, but I'm continuing with the trend. That's right.
That's right. Positivity. Ketch is all about volleyball positivity today. He feels like volleyball players are just more positive than other sports.
They are, man. I watched that last night. Volleyball players, and I'll give you another one, Ketch, gymnasts. Maybe it's just women's sports. I took my daughter a couple years ago, to the gymnastics national championships up in Fort Worth. She does gymnastics. Those girls, man, even like their opponents, man, they're like cheering them on. It was pretty incredible. It was a really cool scene. But yeah, volleyball and gymnastics, all about positivity. I like it.
I once got in trouble, Jason, for saying that women were better than men on Orange Bloods. Surprise, surprise, a bunch of men got mad. But they prove it time and time again.
Yeah, just about everything, really, probably, for being honest. Yeah, certainly when it comes to moral matters, yeah, for sure.
So, Jason, earlier we talked about the portal side of things in terms of guys that are going to be in town this weekend. So we went over Makuba and Golden and those type of guys. Let's start on the recruiting side for you, because Ketch mentioned a couple names already too. But let's start with the recruiting side, whether it's a guy that's committed to Texas already or a guy that is not committed to Texas already. Talk about who's in town this weekend that's going to have your focus in terms of what the Longhorns are dealing with.
Yeah, I guess my focus would be on the guys who are not committed to Texas. Those are the more interesting ones. I would think for people, Xavier Filsaime, the safety out of McKinney, who's committed to Florida. Alex Foster is a defensive lineman committed to Baylor. He's been kind of playing footsie with Texas, and he's been telling me for a week and a half, like, hey, I might visit. And then last night he confirmed that he is visiting, so he'll be in town. The other one, man, he's saying he's not visiting, but my spidey senses, I don't really believe him. Ty Anthony Smith, the Texas A&M linebacker commitment, I got a sneaky suspicion he shows up on campus. I don't know if he's going to try to come in under the radar or how that's going to work, but he's saying he's not visiting. But we'll talk about him in a little bit more detail. But there's a lot of smoke about him being on campus. And listen, I know what he told me. I've got to report what he tells me, right? He tells me he's not visiting. That's what I have to report officially. But I also know what I've heard that he's been telling people behind the scenes, and it totally contradicts that. And if I'm being honest, there's 3 guys that are taking official visits this weekend. If I'm making a projection, I'm picking all 3 of those guys to be in Texas's class on Wednesday.
Wow. Okay.
Jason, let me see if you can guess. By the way, good answer.
Good job. It's a good answer. Well done. I loved every bit of it.
From the department of, hey, I've got to report what he tells me, but you guys should also know he's telling other people other things. Who's the recruit that you think of the most when you think of that?
Yeah, that's an easy one. It's got to be Ryan Perilou, right?
Good job.
Hey, my favorite recruit of all time. That dude, listen, I could call him anytime, any place, and he would take my calls. One time, Chad, I'm not kidding, I called him. I didn't know this. He was on an official visit at, I think it was Mississippi State. He's eating
Southern Miss.
dinner. Was it Southern Miss? Okay.
Yeah.
He's eating dinner with the coaches, and he takes my call. And he's like, yeah, I got time, dude. I'm like, no, man. You go do your thing. We'll connect later. And then I'd write a story about him. We'd have 100 subscribers sign up, new subscribers sign up. So, yeah, wow. Ryan Perilou, we all knew he wasn't going to Texas, but we had to report what he would say. So, yeah.
That is fascinating. No, man, I got time. Yeah, more biscuits. No, the biscuits.
Hey, Coach, can you give me a second helping of this? Yeah, exactly.
And Chad, all the way till signing day, he said he was signing with Texas, even though at the All-American Bowl a month earlier, he was recruiting Martellus Bennett and Fred Rouse to go to LSU. You'd ask him about it, and he'd be like, no, I'm coming to Texas.
I'll give you a money quote. You got to use it. Yeah. So, but.
Oh my God. By the way, Jason, since you mentioned those 3 guys, Foster, Phil Samey, and Smith, let's say Texas gets only one. If they could only have one, and Sark knew they could only have one, which one does he want?
That's a good question. There's different ways to approach that. I think the defensive line is probably their bigger need, but I think in terms of talent, they would take Phil Samey. He's just he's a borderline 5-star type talent. Foster's a 3-star guy committed to Baylor, and he's got some upside, but I think they'd probably take Phil Samey. I think Sark would tell you that, but they do really want another interior defensive line. So I wouldn't sleep on Alex Foster. Bo Davis has spent a lot of time. He's invested a lot of time in him. He's Foster's out of Mississippi, and Bo was out there to visit him a couple of weeks ago. So, if I had to rank him, I'd probably put Phil Samey up at the top, just in terms of pure pound for pound talent.
Gotcha.
Jason, by the way, Chad, you said Smith, but I think you didn't say Foster. Did he?
I did. No, I did. I said Foster, Phil Samey, and Smith.
Yeah.
Okay, well then clap for me because I incorrectly corrected you.
You know
what? I don't know what the hell I walked into here with the clapping, but
you're overly coaching me. Nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with overcoaching. There's nothing wrong.
This has turned into a Family Feud episode where no matter what the answer is, the family's good answer.
Yeah, good answer. Good answer. Yeah.
I was going to point to Foster and just say, your gut, does that, we're constantly looking at scholarship numbers and trying to figure out who's coming on campus. They haven't Foster almost feels like to me they can't find a portal defensive tackle that you just mentioned, that one of the reasons why you could argue Foster ahead of anybody is that there's a need for a defensive lineman. I know they want to get a defensive tackle through the portal, but I haven't seen them come close really to sniffing one of those guys yet. And Foster kind of confirming late that he's coming in. I'm not saying that that's exactly what's going on, but it did cross my mind.
Yeah, it's interesting because there's been some debate like, hey, is Texas going to push for him? Is Texas going to push for Alex Foster? Terrence Hibbler is another defensive lineman out of Mississippi they were going in after, but it looks like he's going to stick with his Mississippi State commitment. Foster, listen, you don't bring a guy in this weekend on an official visit if you're not going to take his commitment. So people saying that Texas isn't going to take his commitment, to me, that's silly. But there are a couple other guys, Dalen Evans and Dominic McKinley, the two A&M commitments, Chad, that Texas is still talking to them too, and those guys are now going to sign in February. So they may take Foster, Ketch, but they may not be done at defensive line in this class, depending on how things fall in January and early February. But I think Foster, it's a situation where again, Texas has kind of kept him a little bit warm, and he did visit for the Texas Tech game, and he said he didn't. But again, you got to report what he said. He said he wasn't there, but we know he was there. But he did visit for the Texas Tech game. Texas has been talking to him for a while, and this visit's kind of been on the back burner, if you will. But they finally pulled the trigger on the visit as of last night. You don't bring a guy in for the last official visit weekend if you're not going to take his commitment. I think Texas pushes for his commitment. I think they flip him from Baylor this weekend. And we probably I heard you were talking Ketch when I was on hold there. I don't think, like someone asked on Orange Bloods, hey, are we going to get commitments this weekend? I don't think things happen this weekend. At this point, most guys will probably wait till Monday, Tuesday, maybe even Wednesday before they, so they can have their big moment on that.
Makuba's the only one because
Makuba might, yeah.
But even he might want to have all these guys try to think of the most dramatic, attention-grabbing ways that they can
not
make
as much the transfer guys, but the high school guys certainly do. The transfer guys have kind of been through it. But Makuba, he's kind of my interactions with Makuba, he's always been a no BS kind of guy. So he might be a guy that just shows up today and then, makes an announcement Saturday while he's at dinner.
He's our favorite guy in the portal because he returns text messages and calls.
Yeah. Well, I had a pretty good relationship with him when he was a recruit. Remember Texas and Clemson were kind of battling it out, and Texas finished second. And he and I, he's Austin LBJ kid, and I have a buddy who coached him. So, I had a pretty good in there, and I still do. But he's definitely my favorite because I can reach out to him, and he's pretty good about getting back with me.
Unlike a certain defensive line edge player out of UTSA, where no matter what we try to do, Trey Moore is just hard to get a hold of.
Dude, at this stage of the game, more guys are not talking than are talking, right? I mean, guys pretty much shut it down at this point, high school and college transfers. So it's sometimes it's banging our heads against the wall to get things confirmed. It can be a bit frustrating, but I just, like Chad said, 5 days, man. I'm just like, to get through Wednesday, and then I can breathe easy for a little bit.
I bet you one thing. I bet you Trey Moore doesn't take your call, Jason, while he's sitting with Nick Saban. I bet you that doesn't happen.
No, I don't think so.
We ought to know what Bob Wiley does in What About Bob, where he has an operator. He fakes his death and has the operator call the person up to say, hey, whatever you want them to say. Hey, we need to get a hold of Trey Scott. Trey. So your mother died, or I don't know what it is to get the kid on the phone and then be surprised that didn't really happen. Are you committed or not? I don't know.
Yeah,
probably not.
Good.
Bad,
all of the phones,
example, Jeff, but nice try. Your spirit was in a good place.
All of the phones in my house, cell phones, my wife and my kids are all under my name. So I think anytime someone calls, it shows up my name, caller ID. I need to change the names to change the name on my bill to a stripper name or something, so that these guys will be like, hey, this is a hot sounding chick calling me, instead of Jason Sukanel calling me. So
we've gone with we tried Destiny and Cinnamon today, so maybe some suggestions for you. So Jason, you kind of led to my next question, because there's obviously a difference in a type of guy coming in this weekend. There's the transfer guys and the offer guy, or the guys that are just their commitments or whatever. Do you think it's a different experience? Does Texas now have to set up, from what you're understanding, sort of two different ways to do business, where Makuba wants more of a speed dating version, and he's been through this, but then you got to make sure on a guy like Phil Samey or Foster, hey, we got to show them a little TLC because they're committed to Florida, and this is their first time through the process. Does Texas have 2 lanes set up, for the weekend of how they have to do it?
I've never thought of that, but I would assume they do. I mean, if they're coming in on official visits, they're going to put them up in the same hotel, the Four Seasons, and they'll take them to their nice meals and do those things. But some of these high school kids, you really have to, I don't say wine and dine them, but you kind of have to kiss their butt a little bit more than you probably do with these portal kids. The portal guys are coming in and they're looking at it just show me show me your depth chart, show me how you're going to use me, show me how I can have an impact. They don't have the time and the years left where they can play these games. The high school kids, they're still dreaming big. You have to sell them on depth chart and those types of things. Obviously, it's important, but I think it's more of a no BS approach when these transfer portal guys are coming in. They just they want the experience and they want the nice meals and the nice hotel room, of course. But I think they're probably more worried about just the X's and O's, the meat and potatoes. Show me how you're going to use me. Show me what position I'll play. The depth charts. They'll take them to practice. They're going to practice this weekend. And I didn't mention, Chad, I failed to mention, a lot of the Texas commitments are coming in this weekend too, on Saturday, just to kind of meet with the staff one more time, go over their paperwork. So there's really going to be 3 different kind of segments of recruits on campus this weekend. You'll have the transfer guys, you'll have the uncommitted or guys who are trying to flip, I guess it would be, and then you'll have the committed guys. And a couple of the committed guys, a few of them, in fact, are basically they're coming in like today or tomorrow. They're staying, dude. They're moving in. They're staying. They're going to start going through bowl practices. Guys like Ryan Wingo and Jared Gibson. So this is a weird weekend. There's a lot going on and just different dynamics all over the place.
That's a good point. Real quick, Ketch, before you jump in, our chatters are doing excellent work here. Cinnamon Sukamel calling Pete right now. That sounds like a volleyball recruit right there, Cinnamon Sukamel. I might want to check into her. I think she's got a lot of kills. And why is Kim Kardashian calling me and texting about Texas football? Well played, JD. Well played. Sorry, Ketch. Go ahead.
I was going to say, this next one real quick proves pisses me off when I want to go to. Here we go. All right, sorry. Sometimes the specs chat like JB Vohorn. What the F is up with the clapping? I don't feel like a woman would ask that question. I think the woman would instinctively recognize, oh, they're supporting each other and they're clapping and well done, gentlemen. Way to have a healthy attitude. Whereas JB Vohorn is like, this is so foreign. You're freaking me out. Why are you clapping?
Yeah, it's volleyball positivity. That's what today's about.
Jason, we got to get you out of here in like the next 3 minutes. So I'll just end it with this. Any final thing that we haven't asked you about that, oh, by the way, we need to talk about?
Not much. I mean, action-packed weekend, and like you and I'll be kind of glued to our phones and computer all weekend, and trying to confirm visitors and touch base with them. And I'm going to try to talk to a lot of the committed guys who are in town. That will lead up to signing day. We've got All-American Bowls coming up, so man, it's no rest for the weary. But I think we've covered most of it. There's a report, or someone mentioned on Orange Bloods that Solomon Williams, the linebacker, defensive end out of Tampa, is visiting Texas A&M this weekend. I hit somebody up and I haven't heard back from them. I was hoping to hear back maybe while I was on the air, but I haven't heard back. So I'm working to confirm that, but I don't think that's happening for Texas. And I'll tell you why. Last week I was going back and forth with Solomon Williams, and it's Texas and Alabama and Texas A&M and Oregon's involved. He was telling me, Sark's coming by and Saban's coming by and A&M's coming by. Well, he posted on social media, he posted pictures of Nick Saban. He never posted any pictures of Sark coming by. And now whenever I hit him up, he's non-responsive. So to me, I'm getting the vibe that maybe Texas has kind of peeled back on that one. But he's supposedly, I don't know where it's being reported. Someone just messaged or mentioned it on the Orange Bloods message board. He might be visiting Texas A&M this weekend. So I'm working to get that confirmed. But I think we can
ghosting hint, Jason.
Yeah, sometimes when guys don't respond, that's almost more of a response, right? So yeah, but I think we can probably safely take him off the list. And honestly, the 3 guys that are visiting this weekend, like I said, I mean, we're assuming if Ty Anthony shows up, okay? And even if he doesn't, there's some thought from people that, hey, Texas will probably still send him a letter of intent on Wednesday, and he might go ahead and just sign with Texas even without taking an official visit. He's been to Austin plenty of times. But the 3 guys we kind of talked about, Ty Anthony, Phil Samey, and Alex Foster, I mean, I think Texas lands all 3 of those dudes, especially if Ty Anthony shows up. That puts them at 24. So, I mean, those might be kind of the 3 guys that we really need to be focused on and kind of cut out the rest of the clutter for now.
And just real quick, Jason, what are the chances Ty Anthony Smith could come to Austin and leave and no one would know?
Yeah, that's in today's day and age, that really doesn't happen. It'll come out at some point, and especially with so many other recruits being around him on campus this weekend. So, he might try that, but it would be a big surprise if he pulled it off.
Agreed. All right. Is that it, Ketch? You good?
Especially if I'm down there with my telephoto lens hanging out around campus tomorrow.
There you go. There you go.
That's why he's the best in the business.
That's it.
Because once upon a time he bought that lens and it still works.
Hey,
Jason,
seriously, like real quickly, like I was talking to my wife about this. My daughter, my oldest daughter, she wants a film camera, right? And I'm like, who the hell uses film anymore? So these kids now use these disposable cameras, and she's got to go take. I'm like, I'm not buying her a film camera. I said, we have a nice camera, but the only time I ever use it, and we have that telephoto lens, is really for like work and like stalking people from far away. So I was like, well, she can just have our camera, but no, she wants a film camera for whatever reason. So
if for any reason he doesn't work at orangebloods.com in the future, you'll be able to catch him at TMZ.
Yeah, we better get Thomas's super chat in there if you can pull that up real quick. Yeah, Thomas, didn't mean to disrespect you. Obviously, gymnastics is a male and female sport, but for college, it's the women's gymnastics national championships.
Hey, guys, let's all do this together. Well done, Thomas.
Good clarification.
Being a part of the men's gymnastics team. Sorry that Jason took that away from you. We love you.
Yeah.
Nothing but positivity for men's gymnasts.
Good job, Tom. Well done.
I mean, wait. Clap for me. Jeff, stop calling Sukamel a hater. He's a nice person. He'll work at TMZ one day. He's already got the camera.
Who's that guy over there with the lens? He's just looking after some North Shore guys. They're in town.
We know that'll be the only people that won't be in town are Duncanville and North Shore kids.
Yeah, that's true. Good point.
They've got a game tomorrow. Jason, it's 1:41. Get out of here. You got somewhere to go.
Later, guys.
Thanks, Jason. Jason Sukamel, orangebloods.com, managing editor of the website, in charge of recruiting coverage, does a great job. I think we're caught up. You know, there's happened. Well, I'll tell you what's kind of strange is there really hasn't been anything that's happened today. It feels like there's been days where in the middle of the show, it's like, oh, this has just been reported by somebody. And I'm almost feeling like antsy that I'm doing the show. And it's like for an hour and a half, I haven't checked my phone or whatever. But yeah, so far kind of a quiet day. I thought we'd already have had 5 different Ty Anthony Smith reports since the show started. Hasn't happened.
Man's being quiet. All right. Before we get on to other stuff, and reminder, we got the crap bag coming up at 2. Just going to do a crap bag TV guide today because there's a lot of good stuff. There's college football, pro football, little UFC, and a state championship game you're going to want to peek in on for multiple reasons if you're a Texas Longhorn football fan. We'll get to that, but how about a double shot of sponsors right now? And we'll start with Specs, the great Specs. Of course, you see it right there, the rabbit logo, the Specs chat. Is where you join in on the show every day. Let's get you 15 seconds of Specs and remind you that if it's the 15th, it's 10 days till Christmas and New Year's is right after that. Here you go.
No matter what you're needing, Specs same-day delivery can save the day with our Specs app or online shopping. From world-class wines to hard-to-find spirits and craft beers to gourmet foods, delicious snacks, and spectacular sweets. It's Specs. Cheers to savings.
There you go. Shout out to Specs, Lisa, the rabbit, and all of them. If you go specsonline.com, you can get ideas for different cocktails, recipes for your parties, all that kind of stuff. And the Specs app can let you just get stuff delivered. Like another one of our great sponsors, Deep Eddy Vodka. Last time I was at Specs, I grabbed myself a bottle of Deep Eddy Peach. That's one of 8 flavors they have. And if you want to get that at the house, that's a good way to do it. Here's another way to do Deep Eddy Vodka. Head on out to the tasting room in beautiful Dripping Springs. They're at 2250 East Highway 290. And tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen, they're open 11 to 5. And Sunday, it's 12 to 5. It's such a cool hang. You go with your friends, you go with some family, you hang out, have a great time. They got the cocktails they can make up for you with the Deep Eddy Vodka. Or if you just want to go straight, they've got flights of the vodka you can do. I've shown you a picture of that along the way. It's just a lot of fun out there. And they've got Crimson Creek Smokehouse on site, an incredible barbecue food truck. I'm telling you, I would just go out there for this barbecue. It's that good. And you get the Deep Eddy Vodka experience around that. This tasting room is awesome. They took one of their an older distillery site and turned it into this tasting room. It's incredible. Deep Eddy vodka, born in 2010, inspired by that oldest swimming hole in Austin, Texas. They're all about a good time, just having fun, hanging out with friends and family. Obviously, do it responsibly. I would advise getting your DD all set up if you're heading out to Dripping Springs and the beautiful hill country, but go enjoy some Deep Eddy vodka at the tasting room. Might be a good idea for those on your Christmas list. And if you're trying to figure out a Christmas party, take a bottle of Deep Eddy. Take a bottle of Deep Eddy vodka. You know them. Find out about them. Are they into sweet tea? Are they more ruby red people? Cranberry? Are they like me and they love the orange and the peach? Find that out. Get them some Deep Eddy vodka this Christmas. There's your QR code for the Deep Eddy vodka tasting room and a lot more. All right. It is House Divided on a Friday. We are 10 days away from Christmas, 17 days till Texas and Washington get it on in the playoffs. That means Bama and Michigan same day. You know all that. Bowl games start tomorrow, and we'll go over some of that in the crap bag. But right now we do have some super chats and other things to get to. Let's just clean off some chats here. A theme has developed on the chat. Fan Club says hashtag Blake needs a raise. We have another chatter, Pete, saying give Blake a raise or just press pass to the playoffs. We have another chatter that says,
Nice job, Chad. Nice job, Chad. But you messed that up, and I want to applaud you. A press pass.
Press pass. Oh, I'm sorry. Not press. I got you. Yes. There you go. Thank you for the correction. We got it right. We always got to get it right. Give Blake a raise.
I just wanted to make sure
or
that we knew what was being said.
Or maybe a press pass to the playoffs. That could be a good exchange, Pete. That's a good idea. Also, we've got Rodolfo. Blake needs a raise, or he's going into the portal. Well, we don't know if that's true. We would hope that's not the case. Ketch, we also have a rare buy or buy. Blake needs a raise. $2 super chat from Fan Club. And there you go. So lots of Blake themed chats today. So
Blake, come on for a second.
For Blake, the super producer.
I want you to feel this, okay? I want you to feel it.
Oh, I'm feeling
Chad,
it.
All together now. Good job, Blake. You've been doing a great job as a producer. Probably not getting a raise because I don't know that any of us are getting a raise, but you've been fantastic. We love you.
Appreciate it.
So true. It is so true. Super chat $2. Texas excellence. Good night for track and field. I missed the track and field stuff, but I'm not surprised they're doing well.
Oh, because the badass was like a badass. Miss All.
There you go.
I forget what she did, but I read about it.
Okay.
Here, I'll
Fair
do.
She won the Bowerman, right?
Is that what happened? Okay.
I believe so.
Thank you. Good job, Blake.
Nice
Good
job.
job.
Blake jumping in. Well done, William, with that $2 super chat. Thank you for that. And this $4.99 Catch, talking about one of my Aggies, at least I hope he's still one of my Aggies. Mark, $4.99. Have y'all heard if Reuben Owens is staying at A&M?
I feel like Mark did that. Mark spent $5 just to needle you a little bit with some fear. I haven't heard that. Sorry, I heard my kids there for a second. I have not heard that there's any Reuben Owens issues.
Okay, there you go.
Oh, I mean, the thing is, Reuben Owens is a little bit like Evan Stewart. If Reuben Owens jumped in to the portal tomorrow, it wouldn't shock me, but I haven't heard that at all.
And just for the record, Mark, I'm not sure if you meant it as a rip, but the @ symbol and the ampersand are a long way away from each other on a keyboard. So when you go A at M, I just don't know if you're making a joke there or if that wasn't. Could that be an honest mistake, Catch? It just feels a long way away. One's on the 2 and one's on the 7. I don't know if that's legit.
What is it supposed to mean?
That's what
if it was a slam, what's the slam?
Yeah, A at M. I don't know. Maybe it's not.
That reminds me of a root beer, like A and W.
It really kind of does.
And the M's just upside down.
Yeah. When you're an Aggie, you're trained to really appreciate the ampersand. So when I don't see it, it triggers me. You can tell. Mark, thank you for that super chat. We appreciate it. If you want to send us a super chat, we do love those. We will get right to them. It is another busy day here with House Divided because you got all these visits coming in for the weekend that we've talked about, portal combat, hot and heavy, visits all over the place. And we've been talking about some of those names. Ketch, we got about 10 minutes until crap bag. Is there anything we have not hit in terms of portal recruiting? We had a nice visit with Jason, and he laid out some of the recruiting side. We talked portal earlier. Anything we haven't hit? Any name that maybe we didn't mention that's in your notes, in your head?
You know what? It's funny. I literally just got hold on, because I need to make sure that I say his name correctly. Here it is.
Okay.
So Jamon Dumas Johnson.
Oh, yes.
And I haven't even posted this on Orange Bloods yet because I told you it's this time where an hour and a half goes by and I haven't looked at my phone.
Yeah.
I asked him if there was any chance he was coming into town this weekend for an official visit because there had been some scuttlebutt that if for those that don't know, he's an inside linebacker for Georgia. He was a preseason All-American, didn't have a big year this year, but is generally thought of to be a pretty big-time player. Mm-hmm. Not coming into town this weekend.
Oh, okay.
But the way he answered the question made me think. So I asked him, says, no, I will not be able to attend this weekend. But that didn't say I'm not interested in Texas. It's one of those where 21-year-old guys on a phone say as little as possible.
Right.
So he's not going to be in town this weekend, but he didn't say never. So I just followed up with might you come into town later this week? Sure. I'll keep you updated.
Because that's yeah, that's fair. There's a difference between can you go out to eat tonight and are you interested in going out to dinner?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So fair. He got back with me. I have a feeling that might be the only text I get. Like sometimes you only get one. You get one question. And to be fair, he did answer my question.
He did.
He said, answered. I'm not coming into town this weekend, but he left me in the world of always leave them wanting more. He did that.
Here's what Cotton thinks of the response you got. Friend zone. There it is.
Hey, considering I've never talked to that guy or sent him a message before that he got back to me, sometimes friend zone is not a bad place to be in recruiting. It's better than no-go zone. And
yeah, that's true.
I'm not in the no-go zone.
Because we all know that sometimes one thing you get with friendships that you do not get with relationships is communication. That's a lot of the time. That's exactly what you get. Ketch, this is interesting from Pete because it speaks to the portal. Pete's saying, I guess Matt Rule got the checkbook out because Dylan Raiola is expected to go to Nebraska. That's one we've talked about before. Dylan Raiola. Remind me, Ketch, what the original school is for Dylan?
Georgia.
Thank you. He's one of the younger guys at Georgia, and supposedly he's going to end up in Nebraska. You also talked about, what did we talk about? An offensive lineman that could end up there? There was a combo of players you were talking about the other day. Raiola and maybe it was an O lineman headed out there.
Oh, I think they were talking about the Oklahoma transfer.
There you go. Okay.
Who apparently is going to visit Oregon and Missouri.
Ah, there you go.
The Missouri one always made sense.
Mm-hmm.
In its own way, Oregon also. You know what the rumor is? And I had to tell people on Orange Bloods, I don't know that I believe this.
Okay.
But this is what they are saying, apparently, in OU circles.
All right.
Was that Lanning, this is so preposterous, that Lanning and Dylan Gabriel were holed up in a Norman hotel taking interviews with Oklahoma players about whether or not they would be interested in transferring to Oregon. I was like,
wow. Dude, wait a minute. You're saying the imagery would be the head coach and the quarterback that's transferring doing an NBA style free agent move and just holding up in a hotel?
Hey, we got Johnson coming in at 12:20. Get your O-line stats ready to go.
Here's all I can hope. Ketch. I think I've mentioned this to you before. When I did Texas women's basketball games on a road trip to Norman, we ended up having to stay in a hotel that was like painted up with Sooner stuff. Like they had murals everywhere of like famous Oklahoma things. It'd be awesome if they were in that hotel, like with Oklahoma stuff all over the walls, talking to these kids about coming to Eugene.
Well, and it goes back to what we were talking about earlier. Like the thing is, do you think that wouldn't get out? It would take one guy to be like, I'm kind of Boomer Sooner all the way. So how about I call the police or something, Yeah,
right. Or at least security, right? At least the paper, right? An insider site. Let them know. That is crazy. There you go. Thank you, Pete, for that updated info. Well, it'd be interesting to see what happens there. Because Ketch, you've mentioned this before. As much as I've made fun of Nebraska for that one score game stat, they're 3-18 since 2021. You've mentioned this over and over. They're a team that is playing bad football right now, but they do have a fan base and they do have a connected idea about NIL, correct? They're known as a team that's ready on the NIL front. They just need it all to come together.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's something to just keep in mind with the Nebraska discussion. Obviously, they'll be headed into a newer version of the Big Ten where, ironically, Nebraska and Oregon is a conference game. And so is Nebraska-Washington and obviously Nebraska-USC and the rest. So crazy stuff. All right. And then somebody else throwing in. Oh, that's right, because we did mention this too. There's been discussion about McCord, the quarterback from Ohio State, ending up at Nebraska. I don't think that's official yet.
It's not going to happen.
He's not going to Nebraska.
He's eliminated Nebraska.
Okay. So, Rhett, there you go. Ketch is apparently.
Let me look at McCord because I'm pretty sure he's settling in on a school. And
so
let me
Rhett
see if I can figure out where he's going. Oh, he's visiting Syracuse this weekend.
Oh, interesting. Okay. All right. Fair enough.
For you Aggies out there who are wondering how a former – I mean, he's not even a head coach at Syracuse. He's a coordinator, right?
Yeah, he's going to go be the DC there, which is the job he ultimately couldn't get. They wouldn't give him at A&M.
That's weird.
Yeah.
Syracuse seems like a bad job, but Kyle McCord potentially interested in playing quarterback. That's a downgrade. If you're the starting quarterback at Ohio State, and you portal and your first visit is Syracuse, what are you doing?
Yeah, that's a bad optic. You're absolutely right. That looks really weird. Does not make sense. It's a good point. When you come out of the portal from a certain place, there are only certain places you get to talk about. Otherwise, everybody goes, what?
I mean, I thought Nebraska, that's a downgrade from Ohio State. Most places are, to be fair. Although Columbus is a shithole.
Syracuse is way down.
But, oh, man.
Come on now.
You want to talk about programs that are barely Power 5.
Yeah, that's true.
They are, but barely.
Yeah. By the way, a little Oklahoma opinion coming in on the Opinion Sports Show. Now, as far as Lanning taking interviews, I don't believe that, but he was in Oklahoma. See, that's all you have to do. Just go to the state. Just be in the state, and they'll start.
I want your lineman, and then it happens.
He would so do that. Dan Lanning. Have I asked you the question?
Have you heard of soaking in the Mormon religion?
Soaking. No.
How have you made it through 2023 and not known about soaking?
Soaking. I know I haven't heard it. What is it? Do I need it explained now, or should you wait till later after the show?
Well, it was brought up by our favorite sleeveless game day host this year.
Pat McAfee. Okay.
I'm afraid. Look at the.
What happened? So I said, Ketch, no Ketch, just stop there. Just stop there.
Well, I was going to say, that's what Lanning was doing the college.
Okay, JD says, if I'm not Mormon, I don't need to know. Wow, this is serious. No, Chad, you don't need an explanation.
If he was in Oklahoma.
Jared says, you know how they say it takes two to tango. Wow. Okay.
I'm done.
Okay.
You know what? I'm going to.
No. We're not doing. No.
I'm going to stop. I'm going to do the rare. I'm not going to do it.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. I think it's a good play. I think it sounds like it's a good play. So let's not do that.
But I think that's what I was going to say. It was the college football recruiting version of soaking, though. He wasn't actually in a hotel room talking to guys. He was in Oklahoma.
Yeah. And that's
and
true.
You don't know what it means, and it's okay.
Gotcha. Okay. And just one more on the whole Lanning thing. Opinion says he was at a hotel in Norman, not just somewhere in Oklahoma. Kerry Murdoch has confirmed it. Sure, Ketch knows him. Yeah. There you go. He was
soaking,
there.
Chad, soaking.
Yeah, not that. There's the word I'm not going to look up later. All right. Not looking that up. Coming up thank you, Pete. We will need a dump button for the first time on House Divided. Coming up.
Really? For the first time that we've needed
first time ever.
A dump button? Okay.
First time. And that's after doing the Outsiders show last night, which featured the phrase topless Tracy. All right. So we will get you the info on that if you want by the time we're done. We do have Scottish guy coming up at 2:15. I don't think there's any dump button needed for that one. But for the crap bag today, I thought we'd just take a look, Ketch, at what's on TV tomorrow, because there's a lot of different things kind of lined up on television tomorrow. And I can tell you will not care about any of it.
Oh, I'm good. Show me what's on TV tomorrow.
I'm not going to show you anything. We're going to tell you what's on TV tomorrow. So
we'll
start
like a full screen graphic.
Yeah, it doesn't deserve it. Tomorrow's bowl games don't deserve it. I mean, if they did, I would have done it. But trust me, when I read these off, they do not. I didn't need to waste mine or Blake's time with that. But I think the high school level is important to start with. We've talked about this Duncanville game. Duncanville, North Shore, tomorrow at 3. If you're not a freak about high school football, but you're just thinking, let me peek into one game, I think this is the game Ketch would tell you to see. I think this is the game I would definitely tell you to watch tomorrow, 3 o'clock. What is it now? Bally Sports Southwest, wherever that channel is on your TV. Get it. Check it out. Duncanville's defense with Colin Simmons on the edge, Alex January at D tackle, both Texas commits that if you're a Longhorn fan, you are hoping they're signing on the dotted line on Wednesday. And then as Ketch has pointed out, DeCorian Moore, the receiver for Duncanville. And Ketch, you got to help me on the first name. The last name is Sanchez on the DB?
Correct. Devin Sanchez.
Devin, thank you. Devin Sanchez of the badass corner from North Shore. Ketch has been talking about this matchup for weeks. It is, I guess, for this week, since once it was set, a great receiver cornerback matchup. So tomorrow at 3 is the high school side of things. In terms of those bowl games, look, y'all know we don't lie to you around here. The day when the bowl games start to get interesting, in my opinion, is December 27th. But they do start tomorrow. Between tomorrow and Tuesday the 26th, there's not one ranked team playing. All right? Just to give you a sense of where we are. Tomorrow, 10 a.m., Georgia Southern and Ohio. Okay, seriously. 11 a.m., Howard and Florida A&M. Jacksonville State and Louisiana play at 1:15. Miami of Ohio and App State at 2:30. 4:45, New Mexico State, Fresno State. And then the two that Jeff referenced in Buy or Sell, which I think are the interesting ones. 6:30, ABC, UCLA, Boise. And then 8:15, obviously no Dante Moore. 8:15 is Cal and Texas Tech for you. And As Pete reminds us, the Independence Bowl does run through Lubbock. Well done, Pete. Well done. That is at 8:15 tomorrow night. Everything is either ESPN or ABC for your viewing tomorrow in college football. Now, if you need NFL football, this is that time of year where the NFL knows you're thirsty.
I like it when the NFL does. I love that they filled you're done playing games, college football? We'll have some of that. I like it when they do it.
I love it too. And Ketch, they're giving us 3 winning matchups tomorrow. Not only are they giving us 3 games, everybody's got a winning record going in. Now, 5 of these teams are 7-6, so there is some desperation tomorrow. Minnesota at Cincinnati at noon. 3:30 is Pittsburgh at Indy. All 4 of those are 7-6. Denver at 7-6 goes to Detroit, who's looking for their 10th win of the year. That's at 7:15. Just put it on NFL Network and leave it, because that's it all day long. 3 slots, 3 games, NFL Network on. That's tomorrow. Then, of course,
I'm gonna watch more football tomorrow than I would have ever have guessed.
Yeah, no, there's a lot of good stuff. And then on Sunday, you get 2 more winning matchups. Of course, the Cowboys and Bills. And the night game is a winning matchup with Baltimore and Jacksonville. So there's just good stuff. So yes, little dear, get your popcorn ready, because it's going to be good throughout the weekend. Also, Mr. Ketchum, I would argue that if you are a UFC fan, there's kind of an interesting card that Dana's got put together in what has obviously been a watered-down era of UFC. So tomorrow at T-Mobile, UFC 296. Leon Edwards is putting his belt on the line at 170 Ketch against the villain of all villains, Colby Covington.
No, I've heard of. I knew that fight was taking place.
Colby has lost the belt twice. Now, he's never had it. He's lost fighting for the belt twice. He's won an interim, but that's not really a belt. So can he win it tomorrow night? That'll be interesting. Co-main is the 125 belt with Alexandre Pantoja trying to defend. Only 1 defense for Edwards at 170. Pantoja has not defended his belt yet. These are new champions if you want to get in. If you know the name Stephen Wonderboy Thompson, he's the 3rd fight out tomorrow night. And then Ketch, here's the fight I'm going to say has never happened in the UFC. A fighter that has lost 6 in a row is going to fight a guy who's won 6 in a row. There's no way that's ever happened, ever. Because the old rule used to be if you lost 3 in a row, Dana cut your contract. But it's happening tomorrow night. A young kid out of England named Paddy Pimblett.
I know Patty.
Paddy's kind of a Conor McGregor light when it comes
He's
to
a
attitude.
Liverpool boy.
What's that?
He's a Scouser. He's from Liverpool.
He is a Liverpool guy. Yes, I knew you might know him from that. His name is great, Paddy the Baddie. He's 28 years old, and he's won 6 fights in a row. And he's taking
Probably should have
on.
lost his last fight, though.
What's that?
So he probably should have lost his last fight.
He definitely lost his last fight.
You're right. There was controversy on the last fight, but technically he does have 6 wins in a row. He's facing Ketch, a name you know and I know and a lot of UFC fans know. He's facing the boogeyman. He's facing El Cucuy. He's facing Tony Ferguson, who's lost 6 fights in a row. Now, are there good fighters in those 6? Yes. There are names like Oliveira.
Ferguson's going to beat him.
Diaz, and there's some dogs in that list. That's why I'm interested in this fight, because
by the way, of all of the reasons over the course of what are we at, like 5 months?
Yeah. 4
the
months.
The thing that pulled Blake into the show, he was like, Patty lost that fight. I
want to bring up, since we're bringing up Patty.
Yeah.
Since we're bringing up Patty, he's such an interesting character. You know, he gorges himself between fights. Have y'all seen those photos?
No.
Oh, when he's done fighting at the post-fight press conference, he's shoving like 6 pieces of pizza in his mouth at the same, like he's going to town. He loves to eat.
He is a wackadoodle. He's got a chance to have some crossover appeal to a lot of people. So that's why I'm mentioning him. There he is. That's Patty. That's Paddy Pimblett. Right there. Patty the Batty is in the 4th fight. That means he'll be 2nd fight up. I think there's 5 fights in the main card tomorrow night. It's another 9 o'clock from Vegas, ESPN Plus deal. So if you're into the fights, I'm going to be getting it and checking it out tomorrow. I think it is worth it. And
he's not a great fighter, but he is interesting.
Right. He definitely is. And what does it say? It's one of those fights you kind of have to watch just based on what's about to happen. Ketch, what if he doesn't, like you said, what if Ferguson beats him? That's a statement. But then for Tony, what if this kid beats him? Tony Ferguson is 39 years old going into this fight. And I love El Kukui. I'm such a fan of this dude. I always love watching his fights. But 6 in a row?
He's turned into the Cowboy Cerrone of the UFC now that Cowboy isn't a Cowboy anymore.
Right. He's turned into a guy that was that legend, will always be in some way, but then you get on a string of losses and you can't ignore it.
You know what's funny? I got into a UFC argument with a buddy of mine. By the way, shout out to McWapo if he's out there watching right now. Otherwise known as Mac, otherwise known as Todd. He's got a lot of names.
Good God. What is he, your friend or a member of the Wu-Tang Clan?
He's both. He's a member of the Wu-Tang Clan, but we love talking UFC together, like me and you, right?
Yeah.
And I had told him once that Rashad Evans was just going to keep fighting on the undercard of pay-per-view cards, and that, you know, I can't remember what it was, and I was like, even if he lost 5 matches in a row, they would still put him on a pay-per-view.
Right.
And my guy Mac was like, no way that's going to happen. And it didn't happen. But Ferguson's turned into what I thought Evans was going to be, which was just a guy that occasionally they would always put on pay-per-view for the name recognition, but not because he's still a championship fighter. So, Mac, if you're out there watching, I was wrong, but there is a guy doing the thing that I was wrong about, and it's Tony Ferguson.
And also, you, in a way, Ketch, predicted the era that we're in now. We are in a desperate era for Dana White. He's got too many fights, too many slots. So a guy like Tony Ferguson, who's lost 6 in a row, is interesting. 10 years ago, no way.
Yeah.
No chance. It just doesn't happen. When you and I both started watching UFC, nobody loses 6 fights in a row and then gets a 7th on a pay-per-view. That does not happen.
No, and look, I will say this I'm a little less hardcore than I used to be. Now I'm a little more mainstream. I mean, literally, I think I've known every name that you've mentioned so far. So I'm in the bubble to a certain extent. I know who Patty the Batty is. Yeah. But Ferguson's a perfect trying to sell cards. Got to put somebody on there that people who are going to know the name. And I get it. That's almost like an animal, like a lion versus tiger fight, which the UFC has proudly tried to never be. But I might, you know what? You put enough lions and tigers on the card, and I might just get it.
Yeah, no, I think it's the card is good enough for me that I think I'm gonna check it out. That is tomorrow night. So there's your crap bag.
Is that the first of the fights on the? Give me the full list. The other 2 prelims.
Yeah, I do not have for you the other. I don't have the full up and the first fight is one I'm not familiar with. Tony and Patty.
Patty and Ferguson are the 3rd fight.
Tony and Patty are the 2nd fight up. Then the Stephen Thompson fight.
Okay.
And Thompson's fighting a ranked guy. Thompson's 6 in the 170 division, and he's fighting another single ranked guy. Your kind of fight there, and then 2 championship fights.
You know what my kind of fights are. Throw some numbers on them, and I'll watch.
This is your kind of card. That's why I wanted to bring it up, just to make you aware, to give you that. I didn't want that card to get halfway done, and you're like, wait a minute, Chad didn't tell me Tony Ferguson was fighting.
UFC or Tech and Cal.
Yeah, it all depends. Everything runs through Lubbock and Vegas tomorrow night. We'll see. So there's your TV guide. Lots of stuff, lots of football out there. And then remember, for Sunday, I had thought for some reason that the championship for volleyball is Saturday. It's Sunday. Sunday, 2:00. So if you're a Longhorn fan, but you also love the NFL, you need to figure out a reminder, because I know I'm going to forget about it. I will forget, but I'm going to try to, get myself a reminder. Oh, yeah, I need to peek in and see how Texas is doing against Nebraska. 2:00 on Sunday. And they're on big ABC, by the way. ABC. Ketch, they had over 19,000 at the Final Four stuff last night. Did you realize that?
That's wild. It's a great crowd.
19,000. And they of course pointed out the thing where Nebraska fans showed up 93,000 strong at the football stadium to watch
Why
volleyball.
are they doing that on Sunday though? Why isn't that on Saturday?
I don't know. Yeah, I really don't understand. Because in my head, I just figured they would go back-to-back evenings because Saturday maybe it's because there's bowl games. The answer is ESPN and ABC have those evening bowl games probably, and they wanted the prime time network, even though they don't have. But yeah, it's right. It's 2:00. I mean, I don't know what to tell them at that point.
I don't know why you're making me choose. Anybody choose. Why are you going against the NFL?
Yeah, it might have been smarter. It'd be smarter to go tomorrow afternoon, actually.
Yeah.
It'd be smarter to go tomorrow at 2.
Anyway,
So,
I'm
yeah.
gonna watch on Sunday, but God forbid, let's hope that thing gets over with before the Cowboys come on.
Yeah, exactly. Right. I mean, yeah, you got an hour and a half before the Cowboys game starts. That's going to be rough for those Texas Longhorn and Cowboys fans. So just to make everybody aware of what is going on. All right, there's your crap bag for today, little TV guide. That means it's about time for a Scottish guy. Now, coming up after Scottish guy, we do have a round of Blinko before we get out of here. 10 conversations in 10 minutes. If you haven't checked out Blinko, you're going to want to do yourself a favor and check that out. Got to check
By
that
the
off
way,
your list.
Scottish guy knows what soaking is. I promise you that.
I'll have to ask. Next time I text with him, I'll have to ask and see if he knows. Let's get you the Scottish guy as we get a little closer to Texas and Washington in the CFP. Here we go. $39 to make sure it's all running right. McCullough Heating and Air Conditioning, 518-0119 or coolmenow.com. Hit it. Exodus, movement of the people. Stop. Put a hand to your ear. Do you hear the sound? It started out low, then it started to grow. Everybody and their mama is leaving College Station. And I mean even more than the normal amount that sober up each Monday on Northgate and say, holy maroon and white hell, do I live in College Station? Got to go. Big time D tackles, O tackles, linebackers, DBs, and more have said goodbye. Big-time commits are flipping like Simone Biles when there's gold on the line. It's gotten so bad in Aggie Land, Johnny Football will visit Texas and Oregon this weekend. R.C. Slocum reportedly will visit McNeese State because they are calling him home. And in a move nobody saw coming, Reveille has trips scheduled for Washington, Mississippi State, and shockingly, Southern Illinois. That's right, Miss Reveille ma'am could flip into a Saluki. Stay tuned. Speaking of places where it's falling apart, in case you had better things to do and missed it, the Attorney General of Florida wants an investigation into the CFP decision, and the governor set aside $1 million so the Noles can sue the CFP. Okay, FLA, let's go over it again. There is no rule that says any team can get in just because they're undefeated. There is a rule that says they can take your hurt QB into account. And stop acting like it was a secret vote. They had a TV show every Tuesday for 2 months to tell you how they voted. Attention FSU, you are not the first team to get screwed by a lack of a system. Texas, Auburn, TCU, Baylor, UCF, Tulane, and others would like a word. But you will be the last, 'cause next year there's 12. Stop your belly aching, beat Georgia, then claim whatever you want. But Saban's crew would crush you, and you know it. All right, Enjoy National Signing Day. Welcome to Mr. Simmons, Mr. Black, and all the rest. SEC. It just means more. Teams that the Longhorns will out-recruit. This is SG 5STAR. All right, there we go. Every Friday.
Well done, Scottish guy.
Well done. Well done.
I also enjoyed the production of this week's Scottish guy. So well done, Blake, the producer. Well done. I thought the images, the A&M fan in the beginning got a chuckle out of me.
Yeah, I've never seen that image. I mean, trust me, I've seen that Aggie, but I've never seen that particular picture.
And the two Florida State fans sitting in the stands.
That was great. Yeah.
Well done, super producer. Hey,
and also,
this just in.
Yes.
Oklahoma has picked up a borderline 5-star commitment from the Rivals rankings. Eddie Pierre-Louis, offensive guard from Tampa, Florida, is the #1 interior offensive lineman in the country. And Opinion Sports Show wanted us to know about it, wanted me to know about it. Ketch.
That's big time.
OU just got a commitment from the #1 guard in the country, which is what Caden Green was playing, was guard. It's not phonetically like the best written sentence.
That's okay.
Laugh now, cry later. What does he think I do, Chad?
I really don't know. Opinion, but before we get to the laughing and or the crying, give us a name. What's the name we need to be paying attention for? If he's that big a deal, if he's the #1
Eddie Pierre-Louis, I told you.
Oh, you said the name. What is it again?
Eddie Pierre hyphen Louis Louis L-U-I-S.
Eddie Pierre-Louis.
Yeah, L-O-U-I-S.
Now in Oklahoma, they're going to call him Eddie Pierre-Louis. But
yes,
yeah, that's the Southern, and they're going to the SEC, so it's probably going to be Eddie Pierre-Louis, not Eddie Pierre-Louis.
I just need to get back to this laugh now, cry later. Opinion Sports Show. How seriously do you think I take all of this?
Well, and why would he think you would laugh at the notion of the #1 guard in the country going to a school? You cover recruiting and have for your entire career. You value recruiting. So if I told you the #1 guard in the country was going to Bowling Green, you'd go, what the hell's going on at Bowling Green? How could they get that level of talent? But why would Opinion Sports Show believe you would disrespect that idea?
Well, I think he thinks I've taken. I got to be honest, other than when I'm on the show, Opinion Sports Show, I haven't spent a lot of time thinking about Caden Green. Sucks for OU.
Right.
Good for OU that they've replaced him. Like, I don't know. I don't know what the moment is.
I think Opinion Sports Show wants it to be a bah, but I don't know if it's happening. He thinks you'll be crying next year when you see this Eddie Pierre-Louis pushing people around.
I mean, he's the #29 player in the country. Like, awesome get for Oklahoma.
Yes, he should be, and he should be pushing people around.
What? I just don't know why that's personal with me.
But it's still, I mean, it's like both.
Just because I'm making fun of the story or the rumor that Lanning and Gabriel were having meetings at a hotel with like the Oklahoma team, that doesn't mean that I don't think that that's an awesome addition for the Sooners.
Hey, Ketch, let's keep it. You know what? Let's keep it positive. For Opinion, hey, it's a good chat.
Job, Opinion.
Good chat. And you know what, Opinion? This is the kind of show that people would say you don't have the guts to chat, but you did it. Well done. Well done. Absolutely.
He says I laughed at Caden Green leaving OU. That's where the laugh part comes from. Did I?
I don't know about laughs. We talked about the story because it's a big freaking deal. It's a big loss.
He didn't tell anybody.
Right. We did joke about that he just ghosted him.
That's funny.
I mean, to be fair, Jeff, at least the Aggies didn't get to their first bowl practice and somebody was looking around like, hey, have y'all seen Walter? Like, seriously, where's Zero? We're trying to run the first play.
Hey, Connor, did you hear about what happened with Walter? No. Hey,
Connor, have you heard that? No? Hey, Connor, LT Overton didn't tell anybody he was going into the portal until today. No? Okay.
By the way, I already have this as a section title for my 10 thought. I haven't started writing it, but because I'm working on my music list,
yes,
I had an idea for one of the things that I'm going to write about in my 10 thoughts.
All right.
Opinion sports show's not going to like this.
Oh.
But currently it's slotted as my number 5 section. I haven't started writing about it,
okay.
But the title of the section is Hot Take. OU matters less moving forward.
Oh, no, that's not going to make Opinion Sports Show happy.
But I'm just saying, I think he thinks that like I'm consumed or obsessed with Oklahoma. I'm way more obsessed with the Aggies. Always have been.
Absolutely true. Opinion. I can vouch for this. When it comes to the energy Jeff Ketchum gets from Aggie tears versus Sooner tears,
not even close.
The energy he gets from Sooner tears could power like a scooter for, I don't know, a trip around the block. The energy he gets from the Aggie tears could power the space shuttle for 3 launches and landings. I mean, come on.
I hate for it to be put in. By the way, well done, Chad, with the metaphors there. It's weird. Like, it's weird how people see us sometimes. Because I haven't for a moment considered that Caden Green thing remotely personal, or it's been in one ear out the next, and then it gets kind of brought back up on our show because of the topic and the portal, and I don't know. I'm just opinion. You're okay with me, I promise you. I don't. You know what? One of my favorite reaction people on the internet, they're Sooners. Like, I don't freak out over that stuff. Just me, just throwing that out there. You guys can go to the carnival anytime you want to. Work at it. Be carnies. I'm not judging.
By the way, Ketch, before we move on from the Caden Green thing, I just noted it. As you said, one of his visits coming up is at Missouri, correct?
Yes.
Okay. We talked about the end of their schedule this week. They play LSU in Baton Rouge last game. Next to last game is hosting Bama. Before that's a bye week. You know what's right before the bye week? At Missouri. Yeah. So Oklahoma will travel to Missouri, and those fans may get to see their hometown feel of a guy, their offensive lineman, hometown type of dude playing for Drinkwitz instead of Venables in a home game.
Can I give Eddie Pierre-Louis a compliment?
Please do.
In every photo, he seems to be wearing dark sunglasses.
Mm-hmm.
But not like they look like the sunglasses that Bo Diddley had on in Trading Places.
Oh yeah.
When Lewis goes to sell the watch.
Yeah.
But Bo hits him with in Philadelphia, $50. In every picture, Eddie is wearing the Bo Diddley Trading Places sunglasses where I can't tell if they're prescription.
Okay.
Or if he just likes wearing sunglasses, but they got like the brown tint to the sunglasses. They're very much like I would see those on Sanford and Son in the 70s. And he wears those in every picture. So I'm looking at a photo that he tweeted out to announce his commitment. And he's pointing like this. And Brent Venables is in the picture doing this. A weird look on. And they're doing it together. But Eddie has these glasses on. That's going to make me like him forever. Barring robbing a bank or something like that, you get into my love nest with a good set of sunglasses that you wear everywhere, you're in with me. Just so you know, Opinion Sports Show, I like him.
Good stuff. All right, Ketch, we've got some super chats to get to before we are done, and we are going to play Blinko. Which comes first?
We'll do them now. When we're done with Blinko, I'm ready to go. So let's get these in.
Fair enough. Okay, super chats, and for Teta, I will get to your the chat you sent me about the Aggies because I know you've resent it. We will get to that here in a second once we get past the super chats. $5 from Colin just joining. So sorry if already touched on. However, no way Malik Murphy transfers to Georgia to be a backup. How would Texas feel about that? I don't know that he's transferring anywhere to be a backup. Is he, Ketch?
I mean, at this point, presumably where he wants to go. By the way, Blake, I'm sending you a photo of what I was looking at. So if you can get a chance, I just sent it to you. It's just Eddie Pierre-Louis with the finger and Venables and then the glasses.
I can't wait to see this Venables face because you trying to imitate it makes me laugh. I'm hoping the regular one makes me laugh.
I think it will.
By the way, at some point, here we go. Oh my God. That's such a good look. Oh my God, Venables. You didn't quite nail the Venables look, but
sorry. But look at the glasses.
Dude, those are
zoom in on those glasses again.
Those are strong.
You're gonna tell me I'm not gonna like this kid?
Those really are the Bo Diddley glasses. That's well.
Thank you.
Good job. Well ID'd because I don't know if I could have seen through all that hair to find the glasses, but you did, and he kind of looks like a badass. He really does. Opinion Sports Show. That looks like a badass football player right there. That's good stuff. So it's about making the best of a bad situation. To lose a guy of Caden Green, right? Is that his name? Of his quality, and then to get a guy that's that good. That's great. That's big time get for Venables to be able to swap it like that. That's big time.
Still
all right.
Doesn't mean that Caden Green didn't ghost the Oklahoma.
No, right.
Team.
That part of it is still silly. All that can still be true. All right, this chat comes in. Cotton for $4.99. We will try to give it what it deserves. I saw a sheep judging. Hot chick slapped the sheep. GYAT. Rolled like jelly. Chad, I don't understand, but I get it. Amazing. Bought a wool sweater.
What does GYAT mean? Slap the sheep's
goat. Slap the sheep goat. Yeah, I don't know. Cotton, thank you for the $4.99.
Is Guyat is that slang for woman sheep parts?
Give you I feel like it's one of these hip acronyms I don't know, like a FOMO, like it's something I should get.
Cotton says ass. It says sheep's ass.
I got you. Okay, slap the sheep and rolled like
Samuel says get your ass tapped.
That is a long man.
Slap the sheep's. Okay, so the hot chick slapped the sheep on the buttocks.
Okay.
And then Cotton saying, I don't understand it, but I get it. Which, if you get it, don't you understand it?
I don't know. As much as we have appreciated some of the sheep jokes on House Divided, I believe this one is too complex.
I don't understand it, but I get it. What?
We need to simplify these a little bit.
Cotton, I think what you meant to say was you get it. That's okay.
You get it. Yeah, exactly. Bought a wool sweater. What a weird ending.
I bet you did.
I bet you did. All right. And finally, this one came in early in the show. So let's get to it. Chad, what brings more Aggie tears? The fonging, I don't even know if that's the right word, of Ty Anthony Smith to Texas, or Dalen Evans, Terry Bussey, and Dominic McKinley pushing back their commitment to February and taking Texas visits.
So fonging is what when Wilt Fong from 24/7 puts in a crystal ball.
I see. Okay. Teta, for me, the answer would be yes, all of it. I can't say I don't know if there's one part of that that's worse than the other. Ketch, you have a reaction?
Let me just let you guys know. Chad does not do jumping jacks. And I don't know that he gets angry either, like at varying degrees. It's kind of the same reaction when unfortunate to bad things happen. There's not like a scale.
Yeah, that's fair.
I mean, he's going to drink some Deep Eddy vodka either way.
That is true.
Either way, yeah. It pours the same.
It does. Pours the same, tastes the same. Just depends on the flavor I choose. And right now, the flavors are a little sadder than they were. And I'm looking for some kind of flash, some kind of something in the next week that is positive when it comes to the maroon and white, because it has not been happening. All right. That cleans off the super chats. And I think that's it. I think that is it, Ketch. Are you ready to play a little Blinko before we're done with the week?
I am ready to play Blinko. Do you want me to go first, or do you want to go first?
I'm going to leave that up to you this time. You let me pick last time. So what do you want? You want odds or
I'll go first today.
You go first. Okay, hit it.
All right, Dak. And the rest of the Cowboys team, for that matter, it's another big boy game this weekend. You're on the road at an AFC East opponent. The weather won't be great. They're desperate. But you know what? It's just a football game. 60 minutes, 4 quarters, go play well, get a W, go to 11-3. You're still on top of the NFC East. Handle that business, and you will earn a little respect.
Here's a little detail to look for in the game, too. Play action. I would always argue Dak's good at it. They need to base the offense around his play action passing. But you know what the Cowboys are horrible at? Defending play action. They've given up 10 touchdown passes off of play action. That's dead last in football. So watch play action both ways. Cowboys have to create it, but they also have got to figure out how to stop it. If you're the Bills, you use Josh Allen in play action all day and all night long. If you're the Cowboys, you got to. All right, I want to go over the 4 different stories in the CFP because I love all of them in different ways. Let's start with Michigan. If they get this done, think about it. Undefeated record, 6 games without Harbaugh, 3 different investigations going on at the same time, including the Connor Stallions mess. They'll have beaten Ohio State. Then they would have taken out Nick Saban and taken an opportunity away for him to win his 8th national championship. And then they either beat an undefeated Washington or they stop the momentum Texas has got. That would be a hell of a story. It would be a crazy story.
It would be one of the great all-time trolling national championships should it occur. And the kind of trolling championships that we really haven't seen since the 80s, when Oklahoma would have quarterbacks arrested for selling crack, and they'd go to bowl games in fatigues, and the Hurricanes used to do it. The Sooners used to do it. Everybody stopped doing it for a few decades, but Michigan's almost there.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to change the subject slightly, Chad. I'm just going to go to Texas volleyball. What an opportunity they have to place themselves amongst the angels and the greats and the best that have ever competed at the University of Texas. On Sunday, they face Nebraska, a 1 seed, the number 1 overall seed. They've already beaten number 1 seed Stanford, number seed Wisconsin. They get a number 1 in Nebraska. If they do that, they're back-to-back, and they'll be talked about all time as one of the truly great teams in the history of Texas athletics.
And here's some more numbers, Ketch. They've got 3 natties. Nebraska has 5. So they'd go to 4 and keep Nebraska from getting to 6. Here are the teams that have gone back-to-back. Hawaii did it. Pacific did it. UCLA did it. Stanford, USC. Penn State had a 4-peat in volleyball. Then they did it again separately as a back-to-back. Then Stanford did it in 2019. That's it. Texas is trying to join that list of back-to-back volleyball champs. First time anybody other than Penn State, other than a West Coast team, would have done it.
Real quick, when did Penn State do that?
Penn State's was in...
When did they 4-peat?
I want to say late 90s into the 2000s maybe.
I learned something today. Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I didn't know that either. A 4-peat and a back-to-back. Pretty impressive stuff. All right, let's talk about that Bama story in the CFP. They would have lost to Texas, benched their quarterback, fight all the way through the schedule, really get the rhythm going. Milroe finds himself. They need 31 yards on a 4th down play at Auburn. They get it on a play called Gravedigger, because of course it is. They beat Georgia, who'd won 29 in a row and 2 championships in a row, then go beat the undefeated Michigan team, and then either beat an undefeated Washington or the team that beat them earlier in the year. And that'd be 8 for Saban. Wow.
If Alabama can get to a national championship this season, it really does feel like the perfect time for Nick Saban to walk away. I don't know if he would, but something about Saban's been changing over the last couple of years. He likes doing TV more, like legitimately. He likes doing TV more. He's selling cars. He just seems happy. And maybe that's a sign that this thing is coming to an end. Just something to think about. My third thought for Blinko today centers around the Leah Vance situation. Local media personality who just landed a job with the Astros. She once said something about the Astros cheating that suddenly has come back up again. And Astros fans are just being mean. And here's the thing. Why can't you Astros fans and everybody else just be good human beings? Let that woman do her job. Quit trashing her on social media. Stop being fanatics.
It's an easy way to solve it, Ketch, and here's what it is. Sit her down with Altuve and any of the other guys that will actually talk about it that are from that 2017 team. And then do what baseball never did. Ask questions and let us hear the answers. It's not a bad idea, is it? Because everybody can say all they want about it's been proven that this and that. No, it hasn't. No, it hasn't. The questions haven't been asked and nobody's heard the answers. Maybe this is a way you could actually do it if you want to face up to what actually happened.
What's really happened, Chad, is they Art Briles did. They just never addressed it.
Yep, exactly. Speaking of facing up to it, I'm going back to Buffalo. Ketch already mentioned it, but man, the opportunity for the Cowboys. They're 10-3. Buffalo is 7-6. Dak, I love you. I love the team. I like you a lot. I'm just going to challenge you by picking Buffalo because this is a desperation NFL game. They are 7-7 if they lose. All you are is 10-4, and the Eagles still have the inside track anyway. Show me that extra fight. Show me that extra care and go get a big win. I dare you.
I have not believed in the Dak Prescott MVP discussion. I know the numbers. And I know how well he's playing. In fact, earlier this week, I told Chad, you know what? I was probably wrong. We haven't seen the best of Dak. We're probably seeing that right now. But that still doesn't mean that deep down I believe you're the MVP of the league or that you will win the MVP of the league or that you'll even beat Buffalo on Sunday. But I'm like Chad, prove me wrong. As I'm working on my list of the top 10 songs in each of the major music genres this week through the weekend, I've been listening to a lot of R&B today. Fellas, it's okay to sing an R&B song that's not like a falsetto. I don't need to hear your voice like this in every song. Sing it like a man. Sing it like Barry White. Stop singing it like Justin Timberlake.
You know, Ketch, it's a great point. We need variety. We don't need just one kind of everything. What's wrong with a little Teddy P? Do the kids not know about Teddy P? Do the kids not know about Barry? Do the kids not know? Luther didn't just sing up there. Luther could come down there. What about the guy? Did the guy in Boys to Men at the middle of every song not teach him everything? Baby, I'm sorry. Sometimes going low.
Baby, I'm sorry. Like, we don't need to hear that every time.
I love it. Let's keep it low. Let's get that bass. Explore the bass. Explore the bass. All right. Let's go to the Washington story. If Washington wins it, they would have beaten Oregon twice. And remember that Pac-12 that was going to eat itself? Nope. Oregon State, check. Utah, check. They beat them all. Then get into the playoff, knock off Texas, stay undefeated, and beat a team you already beat in a bowl game, beat Sarkisian, who used to be your coach, then go face either the undefeated Michigan team or stop Nick Saban from winning his 8th national championship. That resume would be pretty damn husky if they did it.
I see what you did there, Mr. Hastings. You know, in a world where Washington's not playing Texas, they're an easy story to root for. They're the outsider in this thing. They are, you know, they've been to this position before, but it doesn't make a lot of sense that they're here. They don't recruit extremely well. They don't get by on 5 stars. All I would say is if Texas wasn't in this thing, I'd be rooting for Washington. And finally, my final thought on Blinko today, at least my own original thought. Why don't you people ever say that I deserve a raise? Why is it that Blake deserves a raise? Chad deserves a raise. Anwar deserves a raise. Jason deserves a raise. Everybody, Alex deserves a raise. I've been doing this for 23 years. I've never had one person say, Ketch, I love what you do. You work really hard. You're up all the time. You should get a raise.
You know what I was just thinking? Ketch deserves a raise. I'm so glad you brought it up because obviously I was going to bring it up. If you think about the math, it's pretty simple. If he's the boss and he determines how the rest of us get paid, then if he never gets a raise, maybe we never get a raise. So he does need a raise. Whoever it is that controls this at Rivals or Orange Bloods or however this works, the man needs a raise. I'm not saying Blake doesn't or I don't or others don't, but damn it, we can't get it if he doesn't. Raise for Ketch. I agree. And finally, let's talk about the Texas story. To go through what they would have gone through, Sark to prove he could win 9 and then 10, to go get that last Big 12 title. After you lose to Oklahoma and all the deflating happens, you beat Bama, then it felt like you lost something, but you fight all the way back. You get the Big 12 title. You make the committee make that choice, and then you knock off an undefeated Washington team. You go face either the undefeated Michigan team and end that mess, or you are the first champion ever to beat Saban twice, and you're taking the title to the SEC. Holy hell.
Twice. Beating Saban twice. If you're a Texas fan and you're thinking about potential championship matchups, it is the ultimate scoreboard. It is the thing that 25 years from now, they would remember most. Not only did you beat him twice, you beat him on his field and then on a neutral field. Sounds pretty sweet to me.
That is how we play Blinko. They're just, it's incredible stories all around. And think about it too, Ketch. They won't admit it to themselves. No one will, right? If Texas got that done, there it is, $2. Well done. Thank you, Chance. You know what? Every little bit helps. Every little bit helps. I can't get a quarter until Ketch gets a quarter. So thank you for that. I can't get until Ketch gets the $2. I can't get $2. There you go. But Ketch, think about it.
There's like oh yeah, let's give Zuckerberg a raise. I'm a man of the people.
Yes.
I'm one of you.
Again, don't think
I'm not Zuckerberg on top of a mountain in his little white house and his white picket fence. It's like 8 billion square feet. I'm a man of the people. I speak for the people.
You do.
I'm here for the people.
And the way they
for the people. See, I get mad at the people. I am a people person.
And what they don't get, Ketch, is that what they need to do is they need to pay you until you are Scrooge McDuck swimming in the money. And then you'll think to yourself, you know what? I think Blake needs a little bit of this, and maybe Anwar needs a little bit of this, and maybe Chad and Sukamel and Alex, and maybe everybody needs a little bit. That's how it happens. That's how it happens.
Did he give you me $2 and he gave you $5?
Okay, Chance, this is not going to get it done. This theory is not going to work. You know what?
Why is it even when Chance was to give me credit, a little bit of love, he gives you, I just want a little equal love.
Hey, deep down, you know that money just gets piled together and you determine what happens to a chunk of it. So ultimately, you know that's yours. No matter what somebody sends me, you know that's your money.
No one ever says YouTube deserves a raise for good reason.
Yeah, that's true. So, Ketch, back to the Bama idea that we kind of finished on. If I'm a fan, if Texas goes that path, right, wins and beats Bama, if I'm a fan of Georgia, Kentucky, A&M, South Carolina, Mississippi State, the thing you want to do is turn to Texas and Oklahoma and do the, oh yeah, you think you're ready, huh? You think you're ready? You really think you're ready for the SEC? Deep down, they're all going to be thinking the same thing and mumbling it to themselves at their tailgates. Holy crap, they beat Saban twice. Did you see him beat Saban twice? Did you see him win in Tuscaloosa and then have to play him again? We freak out playing him once. They beat him twice. Like the Longhorns would be walking into this conference with such an attitude and such a scoreboard moment, like you said. It's scoreboard over Saban, but it's also the ability to turn to all those SEC fans and say, do you have any thoughts? Or can we get this started? Like, wow.
All right, Chad, I'm ready.
Okay. All right. Well, we appreciate everybody in the Specs chat today. Thank you so much. We do appreciate Blake, the super producer, one more time. Let's just get some positive.
Great job, Blake.
Woo-hoo. Great job, Blake. No low notes. Everything's got to be up high.
Go get some booty this weekend.
I think you're right. I think we should blame it on Timberlake. I think that album might have reset everybody's brain years ago, and we haven't come back yet.
I don't remember, like, in the 90s listening to R&B. There was a lot of stuff going on back then, but there wasn't a ton of falsettos. And now it's all the guys singing.
And then you got what's the machine thing? The auto-tune.
I haven't heard a whole lot of the auto-tune this week.
Okay, that's
listening into the R&B from 2023. Thank God most of that fad seems to have gone to a different place.
That's good news. That is good news. Thanks to Blake for all his great work. Thanks to all of you for jumping in the chat. Remember, Football with Friends is coming up at 3:30. Also, I said I would mention it last night on the Outsiders. Tracy Cowley was on at TC Gold Rush on Twitter, and she does have a special holiday idea for you on the OnlyFans page, Topless Tracy, at TC Gold Rush, if you're interested. Just want to throw it out there. But apparently, it's if you need a cameo-style message for you or your loved ones from a Topless Tracy, you apparently can get that. So there you go. God love the world today. All right. That's it. Until
is that what you want for Christmas?
That is not actually what I want for Christmas because I want to stay married. So I'm going to say no. I'm going to say no on that one.
Wendy.
No.
Let me know if it's okay.
Yeah, I was going to say, you make sure you get that okay from the tower first.
No, I am. I'm publicly. Wendy, if you're listening.
Yeah.
And I'm not even saying I'll do it because I don't know how much it costs, but like the idea of it happening pleases me.
Dude, let me tell you what. You talk about all the no's you've ever gotten from my wife. That's the fastest no you would ever get in your life. But try if you want. I mean, you give it a shot, but that's going to be a no. We hope you all get what you want for Christmas. That's coming up in 10 days. Get your shopping done this weekend. Enjoy all the great football, UFC fights. We mentioned a lot of stuff today. Thanks for supporting. Like, subscribe, get your notifications. That's how Ketch ultimately will get his raise. Like, subscribe, notifications. YouTube will freak out because they see all of that, and then ultimately he'll get raises. That's how it can happen. It's all free. You do it for free, and it can help get Ketch money, and then everybody gets a raise. That's how it can work. We need you. Help us help Ketch. You help us.
The thing is, it's not even that I want a raise. It'd just be nice to hear somebody say I should get a raise. Like, I don't need the actual raise. Just the idea that somebody would say it and mean it would.
Yeah. Since you said it, now I'm going to tell you every 2 days.
Well, then it won't be the same. I need it from the randos.
I see. Okay. You don't need it from me. You know I want you to get a raise. You know I do. You need
Stop
to
telling me I should get a raise, Chad.
You know, Ketch, I think you need a raise. I've been thinking about it lately.
You know
All right.
that you deserve a raise.
The man needs a raise. You need a song. That'll be the next song you listen to. All right. And don't forget, in the 10 thoughts from the weekend on Sunday, Ketch is going to give you his top 10 list in all genres that he's listening to and an overall top 10 list of the best songs from 2020.
Guaranteed no arguments.
Guaranteed no arguments. And if I heard him correctly earlier in the week, all bangers. All of them. 10 bangers from 2023.
I think there's a country song that I have to put in my country top 10 that I don't like, but it was such a monstrous song this year that it kind of has to be in a top 10, but I probably would put it like 9th or 10th.
It forced its way in. Okay.
It'd be like leaving Thriller out of like the 1983 pop music rankings. Like, even if you hated the song, kind of has to be on a list. So
right. Can't wait.
In advance, there's a country song that I'm probably going to include that's very catchy, but I don't like it.
All right. We will see what that's all about. Check out orangebloods.com. If you have not, hey, another great way to get Jeff Ketchum a raise. Join Orange Bloods. There it is. Join orangebloods.com. It is extremely affordable, and you get all the information, all the little nuggets, all the news, all the notes. There you go. It's about sending a message. Exactly. They want to get the messaging out to you.
Big day. Blake. Now we're going to get YouTube's going to send us a message saying that we can't monetize the video.
No, can't. And that's why you need to join Orange Bloods even more so now. 5 days away from signing day. That's good. By the way, kids, if you haven't seen The Dark Knight, I watched it the other day. God, it's good. It's silly, silly, silly good. All right. That'll do it for this week. Have a great weekend. We will be back on Monday, and who knows who will have come out of the portal for Texas, and who knows how many more Aggies will be into the portal or not committing and making me sad. I hope that's not the case, but I'm just trying to play the math.
It could happen.
Yeah. Until high noon on Monday, y'all take care of yourselves. Football with Friends comes up at 3:30.